Blessed love. His time is up, family. Welcome once again to Community Conversations. And I know everyone's geared up for a very, very big one tonight. It's been a wonderful day, lovely, beautiful sunshine. It always makes a difference to us melanated people when we're synthesizing with the sun, so to speak. So, yeah, wonderful to see everybody in the room. Let me see if my moderators are in. The room has filled up mighty quick today. I thought it might. Yes, all about the black, blessed love. Lioness Keeks, I know she's here. Rima Truth, hope I can see you at some point. And our blessed sister, Sean. Sean's not well at the moment. Pray for her, my brothers and sisters. She's got a tooth situation going on. And we just wish her the best. I hope she can make it tonight. So yes, my brothers and sisters, we've got a few things that we need to speak about tonight. Usually at this point in the intro, I say, let's wait for the community to gather in the room to fill up. But my goodness, it's filled up rather quickly. Blessed love, Hurricane Toya, Real One, Desiree Carmi, you done know. Looking forward to your comments tonight. Big up Unknown. Yes, my sister. Rima Truth, yeah, you're here, my sister. Blessed love, blessed love. Fantastic. So all the moderators are present. So yes, my brothers and sisters, we are going to be talking tonight about Lefty. I'm going to talk about him first, because that's been an interesting one all week. And there's been some interesting backlashes and criticisms going on. So let's talk about him first. Then we're going to hear from a sister that wasn't necessarily scheduled. And I only really got wind of her case yesterday, pretty much. And we've been working kind of nail and tooth with that sister. Her name's Giselle. She's from Trinidad originally, but resident here in the UK. And she's going to tell us her story of domestic violence and threats to her life and her child. We started a change.org petition today. So you're going to hear about that as well after Lefty. And after that, we will be hearing, inshallah, from the whistleblower to do with Peter Bailey. So let me talk about Lefty first, my brothers and sisters. Big up Afua Belly. Yeah, if you remember the sister that came on our live, I think last week or the week before, it's all a fog after yesterday with me. But I do believe it was a week or two ago. And she was calling out a nasty predator in Mandeville called Ramon Colai. And yeah, I hope you guys are subscribing to Afro Belly. She's here in the chats. I hope you're subscribing to her on YouTube. She's got a really interesting journey going on at the moment. She's so happy that she made it. Really interesting journey going on, and she tells her story very well in the form of a kind of video documentary. It's really worth a watch. So make sure you guys subscribe to her on YouTube. Yes, my brothers and sisters. It's interesting. We'll talk about Peter Bailey in a minute. Don't worry about that. But first of all, let me deal with the Lefty situation, because so many people, as usual, with their negativities, and look, we know what it is right now. Those of you that have been following this thing from day one are very aware of the type of people that come in, with their rubbish. Oh God, it's reverb today. That come in with their usual, do you know what? Their usual brand of rubbish. But do you know what really makes me laugh is the fact that every time we have a round of this type of backlash, they all say the same thing. And I think, well, you're not actually the people before that was dealing with the other story saying the same thing. Or is it that they all just catch up in the comments and decide they want to stick to that side of the narrative? It's crazy anyway. But the point is that we had a lot of backlash when I put the Lefty story out. And I need to set the record absolutely straight. Give me a moment, my brothers and sisters. Give me a moment. Sorry, my brothers and sisters, I had to take that call because really and truly, even though I hadn't said it at the beginning, we did not know if the Peter Bailey whistleblower had got cold feet. It seemed that way, judging from conversations I had this afternoon where everything was fine, and then the person went off radar. So we were kind of thinking that maybe they got cold feet, they were getting intimidated, but that has just been confirmation that the Peter Bailey whistleblower will be on in a few minutes. Wonderful. Okay, so while they're trying to do that and get in the room, the lefty situation. So everyone was saying, I put up the lefty story because I was approached. Before I tell you who I was approached to, I put up the lefty story and I did it on good faith with evidence and people that a person that I'd spoken to, okay? And I put the post up like I always do. Okay. So I then had to take the post down, and lots of people asked about that, what that was about. And then I put the post back up and changed some of the wording. And then lots of people asked what that was about. And I got lots of backlash saying that I didn't have permission from the victim and so on and so forth. So I'm going to tell you actually what happened. I'm going to show you actually what happened. So basically, I was contacted by one of Lefty's sons called Dexter. Now, he was referred to me by somebody that has been on this platform, told their story, is a big part of the His Time Is Up campaign in terms of supporters, and, you know, is absolutely certified as far as we're concerned, and still is. So they referred that person to me. And this Dexter person, who is Lefty's son, remember that, Lefty's son, he proceeded to tell me what was going on with his very close family member. And with his very first close family member, I'm trying to be as selective as I possibly can without revealing the actual victim. All right. I know Daughter of Zion is in the room. It's all going to go ahead. Fantastic. Blessed love, sis. You guys can't see her yet. So he basically told me the story. And I really clarified with him when he told me that this individual had given him permission to tell the story because they were so distressed they couldn't tell the story themselves. Right. Sorry. Denzel. I think I said Dexter. Somebody reminded me. Dexter. Denzel. I've got this thing with the word, the name Denzel. I keep saying Dexter. It's actually Lefty's son, Denzel. That's the person, as in Denzel Washington. I must remember it. So Denzel gave me the story on behalf of his family member. I asked him, I need to speak to the family member. I was told by Denzel that they are so distressed and upset about what's going on for them, they would rather that he told the story. Now, that's not unusual on this platform. We've had that before. We've had mothers come on to speak for their daughters and so on and so forth. So what I said to him was, remember this was on the telephone, that's okay, not a problem for you to come on and tell the story, but I would still like to speak to the individual, the victim, myself, privately. He said, okay, I will make that happen, and so on. So anyway, he proceeded then to, I guess, try to get hold of this person. We had a few WhatsApp messages backwards and forwards, and he basically said that person, he wasn't able to get hold of them. I clarified with that individual, are you willing to come onto the platform and speak yourself? I was told yes by Denzel. He would be doing that. That's why he contacted me. So I said, okay, but I'd still like to speak to that individual. We got to the point where I'm about to put the post out, as he well and knew from a previous conversation. And I message him again and I say, have you spoke to that person? He says, still can't get hold of them. I say, I'm going to run the post this afternoon. I have no response. And I know that young people sometimes don't say, okay, then no response means they've seen it. It's fine. We're going ahead. So I run the post. Now, imagine my surprise and horror when I get a panicked phone call from him saying, you've run the post and I never said you shouldn't. I'm like, what? Of course you did. We spoke about it several times. I've got the WhatsApp messages, actually. There was a back and forth with me and him. I tried to be as nice to him as I possibly could because I don't want to upset anybody. But I made him know in no uncertain terms that, this, what you call a disagreement or a misunderstanding is not really a misunderstanding, my brother, because you did actually categorically say so. Anyway, that was that. I agreed to take the post down in his panic and whatever. I took the post down, and as usual, when I put a post up, people jump on it. A couple of people had seen it, and those people contacted me with their stories about Lefty. So I contacted him again to say, I'm going to put the post back up. I will change the wording, and we need to talk about it and air this guy because I've been contacted by a couple of people in the community. He then says, no problem. It is what it is. Do what you got to do. If it was down to me, I'd be just dealing with it and I'd be on the live and whatever, Denzel. I later find out that Denzel is actually trying to blame another family member within the family and say it was them that pointed the story to me. And he's basically gone offline and all the rest of it. So it's all a debacle. Now, let me see if I can share just a couple of, I don't know if I can share all of them because it might kind of, be blazing out. I don't know. But you know what? I have spoken to the victim now. I've spoken to a couple of other family members as well. They don't have a problem with how things have gone down. I'm not to blame as far as they're concerned. And Denzel is to blame. And that's why we're just being very honest. Whenever there's something like this, it's always somebody like that, isn't it? So let me see if I can share a couple of them, because the way that I've decided in the moment to share this. So here is the original message from Denzel. So here's the picture that he sent, and he said, that's him. It's a picture of Lefty, although you can't see his face, but I do believe I did put this picture up on my Instagram. And I say, yeah, thanks. He does look kind of familiar. Right. And then we've got another WhatsApp where he sent me a few other bits and pieces, okay, to do with his father. So there's a kind of string going on here. And that's just to show you. I just want you to see that. And if I can show, let me try and lift the picture up, the next one without showing too much of it. You can see there where I've run the, can't see this very well. I think I've lifted it up enough. I've run the post. I've shown him the post. I've said that I'm going to run it this afternoon, and there is no more contact. And then at the end of it, after the conversation where he's kicked off and I've taken it down, I've told him basically that I need to put it back up, and he doesn't seem to have a problem with it. And basically that's what happened with Lefty, my people. That's what happened with Lefty. So when people are saying, oh, you didn't get permission and you didn't, it's third-party information and this and that, that person is so close to the actual victim, there's no way that you could doubt that. You understand? The whole thing was bona fide. I had permission from Denzel, who said that he was going to come on and tell the story, and Denzel just sold out everybody, including his own close family member, by trying to blame them for it when he got the backlash from the person that he's supposed to have got consent from, but he did not. So you guys, whoever you are, take it to Denzel and not me. And I'm not going to hear no more on the subject, because that is actually what happened. All right. So my brothers and sisters, let me very quickly bring in Giselle. I want to move on very quickly so we can get to the main item of the evening. Blessed love, my sister, if you can unmute for us.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
So yeah, I want to just make you guys aware of the change.org very quickly that we've got going on behalf of Janelle's little daughter, Ava. She's absolutely adorable. Look at this little girl. My brothers and sisters, can you imagine a grown man, the father of this child, kicking and punching and kicking this child across a room at the age of 6 years old? She's now 8 years old. This is Giselle's daughter, Ava. Okay. And Giselle is going to tell us her story real quick so that we can get as much traction as we possibly can on this change.org petition that we started only this afternoon. Please go to it. The link is in the description. Make sure you click it. Make sure you share it. Make sure that we get way over 100. And I think after we've change.org, it climbs after that. So we go 100, then 500, then and let's just get as much as we can so that the UK government will step in on this case, because it's absolutely horrendous, my brothers and sisters, what this sister is experiencing. Racism at the hands of the European courts, the British system, and so on. So it's just unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. If you can tell us quickly, my sister, so that we can get the petition going. And then what we're going to do, brothers and sisters, we're going to bring sister on again next week so she can go into more detail with what's been happening with her daughter. Blessed love, my sister.
Okay, so I'm Trinidadian, but obviously a British citizen as well. Move over to Spain due to the father saying, move over to Spain. So move over there, got pregnant, had my daughter. He became very abusive, very controlling. There was drugs involved. He's a heavy drug user. He's also a barrister over there, very powerful in the community where we lived. And it just started like a domino effect with the drugs, the abuse. So he started to become very abusive towards me until I had to flee back to the UK with my daughter. But before that happened, we separated due to the abuse and the drug use by the father. He actually got us eviction notice of where we were living, where I was living with Eva. Domestic abuse, reports to the police, numerous reports to the hospitals, all documented, photo evidence, and also the child herself through video and through talking. She's been consistent with saying, Daddy has abused me. Daddy kicked me across the room. I went flying. Daddy punched me. Daddy called me a shit child. So we had to literally flee for our life back to the UK. So the father has taken out a Hague Convention, which is based on international law. And because she lived there and she was born there, even though she's British, they're possibly thinking about sending this child back with me, back in the same environment and back into the same community to deal with the same people to fight the courts again. She's absolutely petrified. She's going through some therapy at the moment. She's scared. She does not want to have any contact with the dad. And I'm just fighting for justice, for her voice to be heard. She said, someone need to listen. No one's listening. And this is what I faced in Spain when I went through the legal system to fight for us. We literally ran away to save our lives. It was financial abuse.
Your life, hasn't he, directly?
Yes, he threatened to kill me a couple of times. He's driven in the road, you know, when you're driving the road with the child in the car, swerving over into the other lane because he was so angry with her. He's dragged her out of the car, locked her in the room for a couple of hours, punched her in her tummy. I mean, it's just horrendous. Like, I can't even go over it. It just brings back lots of post-traumatic stress. And I need the British system to protect us.
Yes,
yeah, and to see my daughter just night after night, she can't sleep. And she keeps saying, Mummy, can you believe Daddy did this? He kicked me, you know, I went flying across the room, Mummy, my head. I felt like my brain was just jelly, you know, and she just keeps going on, and her story has been consistent. And she kept saying, Daddy, why are you lying? Tell the truth. Why are you lying, Daddy? You abused me, Daddy. You need to stop. Jesus. Please, if you can sign this change.org, please get on board. Send it to your friends, send it to family members, send it to your groups. Please protect us. Please.
Absolutely.
It's
Oh,
a
my
matter of life or death. If we go back there, he's going to get me killed. He's going to get rid of me. And he's going to have full custody of that little girl. That's British. That should be protected. Her voice should be heard. A child, a woman, no one should go through any type of abuse. I've been strong for the last 3 years. I've been fighting it in Spain for 2. And I flee over to the UK 14 months now. And they are ready to send us back within 2 to 3 weeks. Please protect us. Please sign this petition. I'm begging you. Please.
Thank you, my sister. Thank you. And the other thing to mention as well is that if you are deported to Spain with your daughter, and it's not even a deportation, is it? It's
No,
under the
it's
Hague Convention. For anybody that doesn't know what the Hague Convention is, it is an international tribunal, if you like, that is really all geared around children that are removed from their birth countries by parents, and you know, taken abroad. So that's what the Hague Convention deals with. So this woman was subject to an Interpol investigation that have been trying to find her. Interpol police were after her, are after her. It's now gone into a case with the Hague, and the Spanish judges are ignoring the domestic violence. They're ignoring what's happened to the child because the high-ranking barrister who's from their upper echelons, and they're all connected, the judges and everybody know this person, with lots of racism sprinkled in, are refusing to recognize the risk to life. The link is in the description, change.org. My brothers and sisters, make sure you get onto it. We're going to hear from Sister Giselle again next week, and where you're going to be able to tell us your full story. But if she goes back to Spain, not only will her daughter be removed because the Spanish courts have already granted him custody, she will also be facing kidnapping charges. This is the plan. And Sister fears that actually they'll just make her disappear and continue to abuse her daughter. We cannot allow it to happen, my brothers and sisters. It cannot be allowed to happen. Please share it. Let's get behind this. Sometimes we're a bit lazy about these things, but you know what? When we really put our mind to it, look what we did with the Windrush campaign, and we made that become an issue in Parliament because we flung ourselves behind that. We can do it. Please, please, please share, and make sure that this sister doesn't walk back into her death and have her child lost forever to all of us, okay? Thank you, my sister. Keep strong. You know that we're continuing to talk in the background.
Yes.
And yeah, I will definitely be picking up with you after this. And we're going to be sharing it on at Afua Rose 69 on Instagram as well. Thank you, sis. Thanks for sharing with us.
Thank you.
Blessed love. Yeah, let's make sure that we put ourselves behind that. Listen, I don't even want just to talk about how I am feeling about that individual there. I said to the sister earlier on, there are too many white men who are racist, who actually have a slave master's mindset, but they want a black wench in their bed, and they don't mind to do that and then brutalize the sister afterwards and try to remove her black child. You know, we've seen it from the days of slavery, and that's what this man seems to be on. The Spanish, in my opinion, are not as evolved as the British when it comes on to these matters of race and what have you. Very racist institutional place. And we can't allow the sister to walk back into her own death. That's it. We'll talk more about that next week. She's going to come on, tell us her full story, and hopefully we're going to have a lot of signatures by then on the change.org petition. So, my brothers and sisters, without further ado, we're going to move into the main presentation of the evening, and it is about Peter Bailey. So before I bring this person on, yeah, I'm just going to play you guys a recording. Actually, yes, I think I will. Just before that, I'm going to play you a recording because I want you to cast your mind back to, in fact, you know what? Forget the recording. I'm going to do that last. I'm going to bring this person on, and she's going to tell her story about Peter Bailey. Blessed love, daughter of Zion. Blessed love, daughter of Zion. How you doing, my sister? We got you. Hi. You've frozen a little bit. I'm hoping we're going to get a good connection.
Thank you for the reception.
Sorry?
Did I come out and come back in?
No, you're okay now, actually.
The reception's really poor.
Yeah, it's really poor. Sometimes when you keep your camera off,
you guys can
it helps with the audio. or you can come back out and come back in. Does that help?
Okay.
The devil is a liar. We're going to
Better?
do this tonight. That does sound better, yeah?
Yeah, I can hear you a lot better. But you're still
Okay, that
breaking.
might
Should
be
I
it.
leave and come back in?
Leave and come back in and see what happens, okay?
Should I leave and come back in?
Yeah, leave and come back in for me.
Say nothing.
Okay, sister's going to come back in. Well, for those who know who that person is, but you guys are going to find out. For those who don't know, you guys will find out who that person is in just a hot minute. They're going to come out, come back in, and we'll see them back here in just a few. So people are saying they can't see the change.org link. I did put it in the description for the live earlier on, so it should be there. Just have a look in the description box where you've got the title of this live, and you should be able to see it. That seems a bit more stable now, my sister.
I'm better.
Hello?
Let me see.
Yeah, I can hear you. We can hear you.
Perfect. I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay.
Perfectly, yeah. I need to know.
So yeah, welcome to Afua Speaks Community Conversations, my sister. Thank you so much for coming on, because I know this is going to be a mammoth task for you tonight.
It's not going to be easy, but it needs
Not
to be
going to
done.
be easy. With your permission, sis, I wanted to share your original DM with me. I can do that now, or we can do it afterwards. Which one would you prefer? But can I share that with the audience so that they can really get an understanding as to your motive for being here?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can do that. That's
Absolutely.
fantastic. So I'm going to do that for you, my brothers and sisters, because I don't want to hear anything from anybody tonight. We invited Dades TV and other people that have been defending Peter Bailey in the past, and not wanting to believe the victims. And we always believe the victims here. We've been doing that. They have been doing that. So I'm going to show you what this sister sent me originally in terms of the DM. Oops. Right. Have a look at that, people. So sister basically says, Afua, hi, I won't give my name until I know I've got the right person. But I understand you did a piece on my father, Peter Bailey, addressing the truth about the monster him and his friends were, and got a lot of slack for it. What shocks me more is people are still umming and ahhing about it. And believe me, you've only scratched the surface. I love my dad, but he is what he is. And although I can't apologize for what he has done to these ladies, and believe me, there's many, but I can tell the truth. Second, sis. So there's another one here. So that was the message that you sent me, sis. And there was sorry, let me just finish it off. It's really hard to get the screens all going. All at once, sis. Just 1 second. Let me show the rest of that message, because the rest of it, I think, really encapsulates your sentiments, really. And I think it's important for people to know that. So you go on to say, you can't apologize for what he has done to these ladies, and you believe me, there's been many, but I can tell the truth, what I know to be facts. I don't do this lightly, but I identify with being a Hebrew Israelite, and right is right. And if I can do something to help to heal their pain, then I must. Those are very, very honorable sentiments, my sister. Very honorable.
Honorable, because we live in a world that says they're honorable, but no, that's general human nature. That's how we should be a nation, and how should be as a people. Like I said, I don't do this lightly. You think I do this lightly? My scriptures also tell me to honor my father. That's right. Now, I can't wrong and wrong. Look at my father.
We're finding it really difficult to hear you, sis.
The racial demons.
Can you hear me, my sister? You're chipping in and out. Is there anywhere you can go? Maybe outside?
I can hear you. I can hear you now.
All right, we can't hear you well. You're chipping in and out with what you're saying.
Yeah, maybe. Hold on.
We're going to get through this tonight, my brothers and sisters. The devil is a liar, and no weapon formed against this city shall prosper.
Okay.
Let's just wait for sisters to stabilize. So as you've seen and heard, brothers and sisters, this is not just anybody that is coming on to bear witness against Peter Bailey. It is his own child, his own daughter that is here tonight with us on Afua Speaks Community Conversations. She's not playing. She is a woman of righteous and upstanding character. She's a believer of the most living, high, almighty God, and she's doing what she knows is right. That is the right thing to do. Yes, my sister, is this any better?
Yeah, it's better. Missy? Missy? I'm in the broadcast here. Tell her it has to stop. Yeah, sorry.
I know how it is when you've got small children, sis.
Oh, no, it wouldn't be so bad if it was bloody small children.
That is perfect now, though.
Okay, brilliant.
Yeah, so continue, my sister.
Yeah, there's no way that I was look, this hasn't been easy, and I do love my father. Love my dad. I can't not. I just don't like my dad, and I don't like the things that my dad is responsible for. I'm also a victim of similar abuse, not from my dad, but similar abuse. And what did it for me was his comeback video.
Was this?
I sat there and I felt what those victims must be going through. What must the women be going through watching that video, knowing what you've done? And I don't say this lightly. I know my dad. You don't know my dad. Brixton think they know my dad. But I know my dad when he had nothing. When he can't get his rocks. When it was only my mother that
So you on headphones at all?
Or give him somewhere to put his head.
Are you on headphones?
No, you're on speaker. Should you be on headphones?
Yeah, don't put it on speaker.
No. Can you hear me?
You're chipping in and out. If you can take it off speaker for me, it might be clearer.
How do I do that? This is all new to me, Ma. How do I take it?
Oh, no, I thought you meant you
better?
were on speaker on your device. Sorry, I thought that's what you meant.
Yeah.
No, that's fine then, sis. We'll do the best we can.
Okay.
So you're saying Brixton don't know your father?
You don't know my father. You don't know my father. You know what my father... Do you think my father's stupid? Do you think you can live his lifestyle and still be alive if you're stupid? If you haven't mastered the art of trickery? If you haven't mastered the art of deception? It's not a lifestyle you run easily. My saviour, believe it or not, I'm a Hebrew Israelite, but my saviour was my little old white grandmother that had enough sense to tell me, don't tell people who your dad is, and keep me well away from my father. Because if she didn't, I believe that my story might be similar to the story of my sister that I'm going to tell you about today. But my father is what he is. What, because you're not running around after little boys that are 4, 5, and 6, you're not that way inclined. R. Kelly wasn't running around boys 4, 5, and 6 neither, but he was that way inclined. I know what my dad's done. I don't know about these victims' testimonies, but you look at somebody's character and you look at things that somebody's been responsible for. And my dad has done things that make me, as his daughter, as somebody that knows him, not wonder if these victims are telling the truth, but know that these victims are telling the truth. Because you've done worse than what these victims are saying you've done to them. I know this. I know this as a fact. And you think because there's a fear factor or you had a name in the, like, forget that and think about your children. Think about what you're doing. You have grandchildren. My oldest child is 18. She sees these videos. She knows what the chat is within the family. She looks at me and says, Mum, is that why we were never allowed to get granddad? Is that why you never let granddad take us out? I have to explain to my children. You understand?
Yeah,
So if
absolutely.
anyone's sitting there slating these victims, why don't you understand the man that these victims are talking about? Because you see Peter Bailey, the crackhead. You see Peter Bailey, the robber. You see Peter Bailey, the bad man. Peter Bailey, the fun. Oh, put him on your... Like, all of you. All of them. All of them. You're not my dad's friend. You can't be my dad's friend. You use my dad because of his name and what that name brings with it. And he don't care because he's getting what he wants from you too.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't that stop there? But it doesn't. It filters down to women. Takes what you want from girls. Or if anybody touched my daughters, you don't get... My dad doesn't care about his children. People have touched your daughters, my brother. What have you done?
People have touched your daughters. What have you
sit
done?
Down, my daughter's this, my daughter's that.
Yeah, when we were speaking, sis, I remember you saying that hit
I
a
was a
particular
victim of
nerve
domestic
with you.
abuse. My dad used to come to my...
Chipping out again, sis.
Absolutely, because I was in a very abusive relationship. My father was made aware by my mother. Yes, I try and hide it, but when my dad come around, all I had to do is put a in my dad's hand and send him off to Brixton. No, Dad, that didn't happen. Oh, sweetheart, you got any money? Here you go. Off you go.
Mm-hmm.
That was my relationship with my dad. And people would even write down to my sisters, oh, why are you spending money? He's going to spend it on drugs. I didn't care. As long as he weren't going to get into trouble trying to get that money for those drugs, I didn't care. I run my own businesses. I own my own property. I was married. I had children. And he was my dad. Yes, I used to feel a bit awkward when my dad would come around because I'd think, do I have to put on my purse? Serious to God. Or I'd think, where's my girl child? Just because of rumours. And I didn't believe it because I didn't want to believe it. What changed the game for me...
Sorry, sis, you're a bit muffled there. Say again for me, a bit louder.
I have a...
I'm finding it hard to hear you a little bit, sis.
What
If you're a
changed
little
the
bit
game...
muffled.
Is that better?
Yeah, a little bit.
Is that better?
So you were saying that you had to...
I guess what...
Obviously, your father's a crack user. It's obvious that you're going to be scared for your money and stuff like that. But you were also saying that you had to be fearful of around, for your girl children. Just explain a little bit why that is, because you went a bit muffly there.
Because of the rumours that were around. Okay. My dad was very well known. I heard things as a kid growing up. That, no, that's not true. No, that's not true. Oh, your dad did this to my mum. Or your dad... I didn't know these people were talking about. But I used to just think, wow. My mum, where are you? My mum said to me when I was 16, around the age of 16, I started to spend a lot of time with my dad. And I think the reason I spent a lot of time with my dad is because I was dating scene. And my dad...
Because you were what, sis?
And his daughter, because I was around all fronts. so regular. And my mum called me. My mum wasn't much of a better parent than my father in the way of protection. Sorry?
We've got a mad delay on this live tonight. No, I missed a little bit of what you were saying there as well.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Where does your dad take you? Oh, the reception in here is terrible.
Is there anywhere you could go for better reception, sis?
Can you hear me now?
You're breaking up.
Not without... do you know what, mate? Bear with me a second. It's just my battery's low, so I'm kind of... Oh, thank you, baby. Oh. I'm kind of... Let me go out and see if that helps. Is that any better?
Yeah, it sounds a bit louder and better, yes. Can't hear you at all now, sis. Have you gone? Man. There would have to be technical difficulties, wouldn't there? No, we can't hear you at all now, sis. Come out and come back in. Oh, you're back with us.
Yeah, I think that if I go out, the reception's worse. I live in the countryside now.
I know you live in the countryside. Don't worry, we'll get through it. We'll get through it.
Oh, right.
We'll get through it. Mm-hmm.
Yes. My mum, she called me over and she said, "Where are you and your dad going?" I was about 16 years old. And I said, "Oh, I'm just out, hanging about with," like, telling her a lot of places I didn't tell her I did go. So I think I would have got, she would have been a bit concerned. But get down, please. No. And Missy, can you come from, baby? And she pulled me aside and she goes, "Listen, he's your dad, but your dad takes drugs. And when people take drugs, she's basically telling me, be careful, I believe. When people take drugs, they behave in stupid ways, be careful." And I said, "What do you mean, Mum?" And she goes, "Oh, nothing, anything can happen." But I don't know, I didn't understand. Honestly, I didn't understand. When I've become a lot older and I've had my children, I decided to find all my siblings and have my dad try and engage, because I was beginning to build a relationship with him. He had met a decent woman. He seemed to want to change his life. And I thought, you know what, it starts with your kids, Dad. And I decided to contact all of my siblings and try to get in contact with all of them. Wasn't easy. Some of their mothers were rather challenging. But it got to the point where I found quite a few of them and wanted my dad to engage and to be a father. And my mum said I shouldn't have him around my children. I asked her why. Now, the rumours have already, there's been rumours flying around, and I asked myself, Mum, why? So, "Oh, he takes drugs, anything can happen." My excuse was, "Well, you smoke weed, Mum, and I'm not an idiot. I'm quite an experienced parent, and I know how to protect my children." "Oh, anything can happen. You don't know what crackheads are like. He could take crack and not see his grandchildren." Again, I knew what she was trying to insinuate, but you're going to say it to me. If you've got something to say, you're talking about my father, say it. Because I'm not sure if this is my mum being bitter, being a bit jealous because I'm building a relationship with my dad. So I have a sister who's a couple of years younger than me, and we've had a very turbulent relationship. I always put it down to Dad was with her mum for a little longer, a little bit of jealousy. She seemed incredibly jealous. We have another sister that she refused to accept, but she accepted our brother. It was just a lot going on, and I didn't really understand it. She was a drinker. She drinks a lot of alcohol, but her mother was a drinker, and she would get drunk and she would say things to me. And sometimes they weren't very nice. I worked for the NHS, trained nurse, and I would, put it down to, "You're not well, Shan. You've got a problem, Shan. You got, talk to me when you're sober in the morning." She'll just say some really spiteful things like, "Oh, Dad was this, and Dad didn't want you, and Dad." And a lot of it seemed to focus around, "He's my dad, not yours," kind of thing. He wanted me, not you. And I'm a bit. At this stage, what I'm looking at is my little sister who has a problem. I couldn't give a look at our dad. He is not the prize of fathers. No one's losing nothing here. Me and my other sister, like, "Your dad called him." "That's not my dad, that's your dad," laugh, and we'll joke about it, between us to make light of the kind of horrendous father that we had. And one day she turned around and said, I was talking to her in love, and I said, "Shanna, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. As long as, I got you, you've got me, we're sisters, we got something good out of it." And she proceeded to turn around and tell me, "Dad's done something to me." And I said, "What?" She said, at the time she was about maybe around 20, 21, maybe a bit younger. And she Missy, can you get me that charger, honey? She had a lot of trouble going on. She had a little boy and all sorts of stuff. I unplugged the her mum was an alcoholic and of her own. I said, "What did he do?" She said, "One day I went to see Dad at his hostel, and he was taking drugs, and he offered me some drugs and tried to have sex with me."
Right, you're a little bit low, sis, so I'm going to repeat what you've just said to me.
Yeah.
So when she was younger, she went to see your dad, Peter Bailey, at his hostel. He was taking drugs, and then he tried to have sex with her. Sorry.
He offered her drugs first. He offered her crack, and said, "Oh, just take." Because I said to her, at the point I'm hearing this, I'm thinking, what the fuck? And I'm like, what, Shan? She's like, yes, sis. And he was like, go on, Shan, take it. It'll make you feel better. And I said, no, Dad, I don't want it. This is what she's saying to me. And I said, so Shan, didn't you get up and cuss and walk out? Because we're not idiot girls. We're bricks and street girls. We're not idiots. I said, Shan, didn't you cuss him and tell him about yourself? And what got me after saying that, because I am a victim of sexual abuse, and I am not a shrinking violent, but I was weak and frozen in my incident. What got me is she looked at me and she said, but then and I could see the tears in her eyes. She said, but then he tried to have sex with me. I just froze. And that resonated with me. That resonated with me, but you know what? God forgive me. And I feel so ashamed. I turned around and said, you're lying. I didn't want to believe it. All this work I've done, found all my siblings, got my dad coming to my house every weekend, even though the incentive of having money was more of a motive than I didn't care. It was normal. Every weekend I would lock up my salon, toddle home, think, oh, what am I going to order for my brothers and my sisters and my dad? We were all sitting around the table, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my God. And I used to pat my dad on the shoulder and say, look, you can do it, you know, Dad, look. And they say, oh, yeah, no, I love you, sweetheart. Like, there's a good part of this man inside him. The problem is whatever has happened to you, and I don't know what's happened to my dad, but I know it's something bad. Something has changed the psyche of that child that developed the teenager, that developed the man that he is today. Do you understand? But I didn't believe my when she told me. I accused her of all the lies under the world. I accused her of being a selfish bitch, and I told her to get out of my house. I went to my father with it, and he said, she's lying. What? She said, what? She's lying. When I look back at it now, his reaction wasn't angry enough. Do you think if somebody said that to my ex-husband would still be frothing at the mouth about it years later?
Of course, your own child.
Down and think about it now, but I didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to. I finally had my dad. I didn't want to believe this. Chanel's always been spiteful. This must be something spiteful. She's just jealous. I went to about it, and my mum said, oh, well, you know, she's a spiteful cow, but lay. My mum's always been, I know my mum's had something to say, but I don't know why she just won't get it out. My mum was 15 when she had me. I don't know if it's something that went down with
Your mum was 15 when she started up with your dad?
Yeah, my mum was 15 when she gave birth to me.
And how old was he?
My dad, I think he was 18.
Okay.
I think he was, 17, 18. It was just before his first stretch in prison. And, you know...
Some might say that that's just 3 years apart, but it's actually illegal.
Not only... Look, I was a 16-year-old girl, 15-year-old girl dating big men. Okay? It's out there, and they do it.
Absolutely.
But for me, I don't care if you're taking crack, heroin, or vitamins. I don't care if you're jacking up, shotting up, or smoking up. I know many of crackheads as a child growing up in Brixton, as a child growing up with people around her that sold drugs. I sold drugs when I was a kid. I didn't know any better. But also, as an NHS nurse, I haven't heard many stories of, I tried to give my daughter drugs and fuck her.
Try not to say F, sis, too much. We don't want them taking the live down. But yes. Yes. No, absolutely. You make the point, sis. You make the point.
And I didn't believe my sister for two years. And we fell out. We didn't talk for 2 years. 2 years, we've come back into each other's lives. And my sister's still drinking. In fact, her alcoholism is even worse. She still keeps herself together. Stunning girl. My sister's beautiful. Beautiful. All Peter's children are. And my little sister turned around and told me the exact same story. We were talking about why we don't get on and why we're arguing. We're not going to let it happen. And she turned around and she said, yeah, but you never believed me. I said, believed you about what, Chan? But inside I knew exactly what she meant. And she told me this story again, identical to how she told it to me before. And I had a house phone. And we decided that we're going to call. She goes, look, I can put, like, we're talking. I can't remember. She said, look, I can prove it, or watch this, and just took up my phone. She took up her phone. We were on a freeway kind of call with our father, and she turned around and mentioned the situation. Said, Dad, remember when I come to your hostel and relayed exactly what I've just relayed to you? And he goes, yeah, why? What, Sham? Why are you bringing that up again?
So he said, why, when she asked him, you basically set him up where you had a three-way conversation between you, your sister, and Peter Bailey, your dad.
He didn't know I was on the line listening. He thought
he obviously didn't know you were on the line. Yes.
This is
okay.
He thought he was just having a conversation with my sister. And my sister turned around and said, relayed the situation. Dad, remember when I come to your hotel? He goes, oh, well, wait. Oh, but, and he went silent. I'm not an idiot. I knew, and he went silent. Oh, why are you bringing that up again? Why? What's being said now? And she goes, no, Dad, I just wanted to know if you remember. I took the phone off and I put it down. I held my sister and I cried my eyes out. I couldn't.
After not believing her for 2 years.
How did I know? I then picked up my phone and I spoke to my aunt, my brother's sister, whom, again, I don't have strong relationships with these people, conversations here and there, the Black family legacy. Hi, Auntie, hi, but no real connection. And I said to her exactly what had happened. I said, I didn't believe my bloody sister. I said, he just fucking admitted it. I've heard him go on the phone. I'm all emotional and angry. And she was like, oh my God, really? But, the response I got, I am a mother. I'm a mother. I've got girl children. I'm also, I may not have had a good father, but my ex-husband is a fantastic father. So I know how one should behave. If somebody rang my phone and told me my brother was responsible for something like that, I'm not, oh really? What? You mean that? I'm going crazy. Like, what are you talking about? But I got the impression it was something that everyone knows. Everyone knew.
Right.
It's not, and if they didn't know, then his behavior in their childhood, maybe before we even come along, it hasn't shocked them. No one was shocked enough. No one was angry enough. And I'm thinking, am I the only person that is sitting here thinking this is this is crazy? Mm-hmm. This is my sister, your daughter. And throughout the years growing up, when I took it to my mum and I went berserk, me and my mum almost fell out. And she goes, oh, well, there was this incident and there was that incident. And started to tell me of incidents where he had been in houses where there were young girls, usually of the age of 14, 15, 16, and sexual things have happened.
Mm.
Been asked, on one occasion, we was asked to leave my mother's friend's house because he put his hands between her 15-year-old niece's legs. I can't remember. I was only a kid, about 11 years old myself. And I'm thinking, me and my mum had, how could you not tell me this? Oh, I warn you, I did tell you not to have your dad around. I did tell you. Yeah, Mum. I mean, you told me it's because of drugs or the people that might want to do something. You didn't tell me it's because he could potentially be a bloody paedophile. And because of that, me and my mum had a roaring argument, and I got up with my children, and I left London, and I moved to Brighton.
Breaking up a bit, sis, sounded a bit distant.
After I found that out, I had a huge argument with my mum. I scraped up my children and my husband, and I moved to Brighton. I thought enough is enough. There's not I around. But then when you were so appalled
that everybody around him knew what he was up to with underage girls.
I believe so. I can't say absolute because I don't have any proof or any evidence. What I can say, I'm a smart lady. And I have some form of training. I'm not a psychologist, but when you do nursing, you do have some form of psychological training. And when you sit down and watch people's reactions to certain things, I can't explain it. They weren't upset enough. They weren't
shocked.
Angry.
I understand what you mean. Yeah.
And I am telling you, my father has offered my sister drugs and tried to sleep with her. To me,
Peter
Bailey, my father, my dad. I heard this from my sister's mouth, and I heard it confirmed from his mouth when she tricked him on a freeway conversation. I do not doubt what she is telling me. I now understand why my sister drinks so much alcohol, why she is so spiteful, why she is the way that she is. But I also believe that there may be even more to it, and she's not saying, because her relationship with her father is still rather close. Her relationship with her father You know, I know she's angry at him. I know she doesn't really enjoy, you know, all he does is ask us for money. Oh, if we can have this, oh, you got that. We panic when he's in the house. Is something going to go? Is something going to be bad? But we want him around, so we haven't. You don't sit down and you see Peter Bailey Roadman, Peter Bailey Legacy. Before he was any of that, he should have been Peter Bailey the father, Peter Bailey the protector. You had children with women that were sometimes as bad as you. What saved me and my sister who lives close to me is our mothers were women and had family. They weren't young girls. And when they become pregnant with your children, their families took them away from them and raised their children. Otherwise, we would be in similar situations as some of his other children. And to be honest, they haven't done too bad. My sister Chanel, who I'm speaking about, mentally it's the worst. My sister's been sectioned. My sister's like, sit down and go on Peter Bailey. Rude boy, where were you when your daughter was sectioned, my brother? Where were you? Where were you? Because my sister was going through what she was going through because of the lifestyle you and her mother gave her. What do you think that image of your dad trying to give you drugs, let alone trying to get into your knickers, does to you? The mental, whether he did it or he didn't do it, you might as well have done it, my brother, because the mental is still there.
You mean whether he got through or not? You mean, yeah.
Yeah, whether he got through or not. I would hate to think that he would have held her down and took it. I would have hated to think that. But she knew she needed to get out of there, and she did. And then I'm sitting down thinking, as a man, are you letting your daughter go on the road? Knowing that she must feel confused, upset, on road, a young girl. Like, who are you? Who are you? And then I'm sitting down and I'm watching a video. Like, if you've done these things and you've got caught, but because of the backward mentality of Brixton, yes, I have put it out there. Everybody's, it's Peter Bailey, isn't it? So you're back in Peter Bailey. Cool. All right, then go off into the shadows, fall under the rocks you come from, my brother. But don't come and rub salt into those victims' wounds by giving a video, do rape nobody. I know you and I know you're lying. I weren't there and I know you, Daddy. And I watched that video and I could tell by your body language, your facial expressions, how you're answering, that you are lying. You are lying. I'm not asking you. I don't need to ask you. I don't need no radio man to come and tell me about my dad. You went there when I was being made. I know him. And I know
Sis, we've got somebody who's calling themselves John Smith, which is probably not their real name. And they're saying you're speaking to a big liar. I am stepchild of Peter Bailey. She's talking about my sister.
What stepchild?
Who could that be?
If I don't know you, what stepchild of my father's can it be? Who are you?
He says they say that you're talking about their sister, who is your sister.
My sister Chanel, we share the same father.
Right.
We don't share the same mother. And that is who I'm talking about. I don't know what he's done to your stepsister, darling, but I know what he's done to my little sister.
Well, it says that he says she is talking about my sister. Don't know if you can see that on the screen.
And who are you? Who are you?
Who are you? Yeah.
Are you? Bring yourself to this. If you want to talk to me about my father, what, do you think I do this with pride? Do you think I come on a show to turn around and tell people my father is a potential paedophile that violates women? What am I proud of this? That's my dad. That's what I sent you the pictures of me and my father, did I not?
Yes, you did, sister. Yes, you did.
Did you not see I'm close with my daddy?
Mm-hmm.
My father could for anything. I run 3 salons in London. My father could have asked me for anything. Everybody used to trust me, including my sister Chanel. Stop giving him money. He's only around you for money. If it means he ain't robbing and hurting somebody, I don't business. I really don't care. Oh, she's talking about my sister. I don't know nobody like that. The only time we saw my dad is when my dad was in problem. He would go from baby mother to baby mother to baby mother. One he will get money from. One he will put his head down to sleep. One he will stay with. Oh, he's my stepfather. He ain't no one's stepfather, darling. He can't even be a father. So whoever you are, stop hiding behind John Doe or Jon Snow and speak your truth. Because I've come out here to speak. Because I was a victim of sexual abuse. My father has fucked up my sister's head and life. And now, whoever you've done these things to, you're now rubbing salt into injury, coming on with your video of, I didn't do nothing. Stop lying. The truth will set you free. Brixton's R. Kelly, the truth will set you free. Like, he has to stop this. You have to come clean. Be a good father to your children. This man.
What would you say, sis, to, you know, you've seen the interview with Dardes and Peter Bailey. You've seen that, and that's what's, you know, that's what's motivated you and inspired you to want to come on here and speak the truth. But did you also see the live? I don't think you saw the live where Dardes TV, the guy that interviewed him, came onto my live shouting and disrespecting, trying to defend Peter Bailey and trying to discredit me.
I don't know this boy. This boy's going to defend anybody that's in the limelight at the time. Niggas just trying to get famous. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know him. I'm not going to comment on him. If you want
like, sis, you know what? Like, not even to give him the lowest ranking of black person, which is Negro. He's not even that, because he's not black at all. And what he's doing is culturally appropriating the worst of our community for financial gain and notoriety. That's what he's doing. And he's a coward. He doesn't want to get a bloody nose because he declined your invite today to come on the show.
Let me be real with you. Excuse my language. I grew up in New York. Yeah, it's just a term that we use. But let me be real with you. I ain't against nobody that's on their hustle, you know. Do what you need to do. If that's what you're doing, I don't know, this goddess guys, that's what you're doing for your hustle. Maybe many people have. They've gone on YouTube and bust. Maybe you're hoping to be one of those hopefuls. I ain't got nothing against that. But let me tell you what I have got something against. Do not try and get your fame off of the pain and destruction of women. You do not understand what it feels like to be a woman and turn around and say, he did this, and no one believes you because of who he is. Don't you dare. If you're going to do it respectfully, my brother, because you weren't there. So you don't know what happened. I don't know whether my dad did or didn't. Yeah, babe. All I know is the character that my father is. And the likelihood is, yes, you did. And then I've looked at a video, and what I know of the man that is my father, I know these girls are telling the truth. My opinion, but I would stake my life on it. I would stake my life on it. Do you understand? So if this man is out there, you're screaming, shouting your head off, fair enough. Do what you've got to do to get your 5 minutes of fame, my brother. But what you don't do is you do not use the abuse of women to do that. You do not use, like, you know for 101% sure that did not happen, and the only way you know is if you were in that room. Don't comment on it like you do. You don't know my father. There's things I could say that I won't speak on here because it's not irrelevant, that would make people think, Peter Bailey, no way. Yeah, way. Do you understand where I'm coming from?
When you say that, I know we've spoken quite extensively. We spoke for 5.5 hours at one point, didn't we? But are you talking about his extracurricular activities with certain individuals? Is that what you mean?
My dad is not what he seems to be. It is not what you see. What you see, the bad man that walks up and down on the road. Yeah, sure. The only thing is, my dad had nothing to lose. So yeah, he will pull out a knife quicker and cut you. Yeah, he will pull out a shotty quicker and shoot you. This little boy didn't have nothing to lose. Just another street end on the road with nothing to lose, but thinking that he had everything to gain. But you had a lot to lose. You had your kids to lose because you lost your kids. You understand where I'm coming from? My dad dated a Rasta woman. Beautiful woman. Best woman that I had ever seen my father date. Wanted to fix him, clean him, only her own house. Worked, had one little son. She couldn't take the drug taking, you know, and she warned you. Me and the woman were close. She used to come in at my salon while I twist out the Queen's locks. Telling me, oh, I wish your dad did. Oh, I think he's cheating. I know my dad ain't cheating. I know he ain't been home for 3 days, darling, but he's in a crack house in Brixton, Stockwell, or Kennerton. That's why he ain't been home for 3 days, babe. But I couldn't tell her that. She had to fight out for herself, and she did. And she, as a decent woman, putting her kids first, she cut. It's around that time I started to build a relationship with my father. I've always known my father. He's always been in and out of my life. But to really try and cultivate, and I said, Dad, make sure you come next weekend, you know, making sure we come on the weekends to chill and sit down with his children. Some of them still didn't want to talk to him, but a lot of them did. He has a son, a beautiful son. Beautiful boy. My dad's double. Beautiful. So talented, so gifted. And where you don't take the time you should to know your son. And when you did, your son found out you were a Nicky and didn't want nothing to do with you.
Sis, do me a favor, turn your camera on a minute, because for those of us that was on when you first came on, we know that you first came on with your camera. This John person again is saying, I would never defend Peter Bailey, but she should not be trying to expose others while hiding herself. For your information, John, she came on with her camera in the beginning, and the reason that it's off for anyone else that's thinking what John's thinking is because it's a better reception without her. You see these people, they do my head in.
Do you know something? I don't listen. You only get offended if somebody is talking lies about you. I'm not offended. Okay? I don't know who this girl, I don't believe it firstly, but let's pretend that this girl does think that she has a stepsister out there that he's done it. I'm not talking about
Well, it's somebody calling themselves John Smith, so that's either a man or a woman. We don't know, because it's clearly a fake profile.
It could be my father himself. It could even be my sister. I am not here to prove anything to anybody. You do not pay my bills. You do not feed my children. You do not open my businesses in the morning. I'm here for the victims. I'm here that if my father is listening, he will turn around and feel, raw. He knows how I stay. I don't condone anything like this.
Good girl.
You understand? I don't condone it. I could be up here. I don't need to bring this. I could be up here just slating him as a bad father. Your kids were in care in Brixton while you were running the streets. Bad man Peter Bailey. I don't need to come up here and slate him on this. There's 101 things I can slate this brother on. It's not about that. It's about what you're doing to these women. It's about these women feeling the pain of you standing and denying what you're doing on video, my brother. You are what you are, a drug abuser. But that doesn't mask the devil within. And a devil within is the only kind of thing I know that will try and give its daughter drugs and fuck it. So if this John Doe, Jon Snow, you know nothing, Jon Snow. Okay? If you really, really believe you can challenge me, come, show your face. I'm not talking about your stepdaddy. I'm talking about my father, my daddy.
Yeah.
You don't know. I know my daddy. It's like me trying to come tell you about your mother and her underneath. I can't tell you this. I don't know nothing about your mother. I know my father. And I don't do this lightly. I do this because he needs to wake up and realize what he is. The truth will set you free, Dad. And those victims deserve some kind of vindication. Those victims deserve somebody to stand up and say, actually, I know him to be a sexual predator. And I am standing up and I'm saying it. You understand? I don't know what.
And for those people that have just joined, this is Peter Bailey's daughter. It's his firstborn child. His firstborn child. And she is clearly not her father's child in the sense of having some kind of integrity and a sense of right and wrong, you know?
My savior was, I was sent to America. I was sent to America and I was given intensive therapy, and my aunt raised me well. Do you understand? That's why I come back with my heart to try and forgive myself. If you don't like it, stop behind names. Do you think this is easy to come on and do? Do you really think I want my face shown? To say that is my dad, that my dad is responsible for something like that? That I can't trust my dad around my daughters? Do you think this is something to be proud of? Do you think this is something to come on and hype? I don't need to hype. All I need to say is my dad's Peter Bailey, Brixton Roman. That's enough hype. If I'm that way inclined, I'm not that way inclined, my darling. I fear God. I don't fear no man. I fear my God. And what he's doing, even the stick that you've got, I don't know you from nowhere, you know, sister. I know you by bloodline. I don't know you from nowhere. And what you are doing in our community, what are we going to keep doing? Hide shit like this? What if he gets, like, let's say that this Jon Snow commits somebody. Let's say he is with a woman that's got kids.
I will put the link in a minute, because I know already that the sister is happy to take questions. So if this John Smith wants to come on, that's going to happen. You're happy to take questions, aren't you, sis? You asked that people that are defending him in the past, like Black Olive and people like that, come on and tell us what they think.
If I don't know, I will say I don't know. I will give my opinion. But if no, I don't know. I don't know everything they did and didn't do. what I know is that what you are doing needs to be done. We need to out these. We need to out it because we hide it. We hide it. We sweep it under carpets. We don't, me included. I didn't want to believe my sister. You're all right. Believe that my dad did that. My dad, who I've had in my house with my girl children. No, I didn't want to believe that. I'm married to a Rastan. Do you think I could go to Rastan and tell the Rast this? When I sat down to the Rastan, he said, yo, B, why your dad didn't come round no more? You weren't there for me when I was young, man. We don't get on no more. Yeah, man. Do you really think I could sit down and tell my ex-husband what I'm revealing to you at the time that I was with him? Remember that if I was wrong, Jamaica and stay there. He was that. He would have went to a man that way inclined would behave.
Turn your camera off again, sis.
And when he heard
it's,
little rumours over the years,
creating
he
the
told me
problem,
straight,
sis.
yo, man.
Turn the camera off again. That was just to make John know that no one ain't hiding around here, okay?
You know, when nobody hiding here. My dad knows me. And my dad is going to cuss about this. I wouldn't be surprised. The last time I spoke to my dad was about a week and a half ago when I had to ask him, do you love your children? My brother, do you love your kids? Yeah, of course I do, sweetheart. Really, Dad? Is it? You know? I had to ask him, do you love your kids? Because if you did, do you not understand that you've got grandchildren that are watching these YouTube videos? Why are you masturbating? If my dad didn't put out this video, for me and you wouldn't be speaking, you know? You wouldn't be speaking, you know? We wouldn't be speaking. I most probably would have left a comment saying you don't know the devil with it.
Yeah.
But me and you wouldn't be
but
speaking.
It's the fact that he had the audacity, isn't it?
Video,
to do, he had the audacity to do a clapback video with this Dardest guy and actually tell lies.
Exactly.
Yeah. And like you said, you know his body language. He's your dad. You know when he's lying. But when you watch the video,
if anyone touched my daughter, if anyone touched my daughters, not touch my daughters, and I'm brother, you did, you did. No one could touch your daughters, but you tried to touch your daughter, my brother.
But you touched your daughters. It's all a front, isn't it?
Listen, you like messed up your brain, or you know what you're doing. One or the other.
I think you're breaking up a little bit again, my sister.
It has.
Hello?
To stop it.
Breaking up again, sis.
You have to stop it. And it's as simple as that. And what you're doing, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, that's better. That's better. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah. It has to stop.
Sis, what would you say to people? Because we've got somebody called Truthsayer that says they want to come on. They've been on Instagram all week, carrying on in the comments and telling me how I should do things and how I'm dividing the community. What would you say to people that say that I'm splitting the community in two? I'm messing up cases because they don't know what we do in the background, but they think they do. And basically what I'm doing is an all-round bad thing and there's another way to do it. What would you say to those people?
Okay, so what I would say to those people is, well done. You're thinking exactly how the system wants you systemize NIGGAs to think. You understand where I'm coming from? Let me explain something to you. If you're splitting the community, they need to be more worried about the men that are splitting their little girls in half. If you're splitting the community, they need to be more worried about why people are not coming out and saying, actually, this is Effa. If you were on here spitting people's game, what people are doing to survive or their legal activities, I'll be looking at you saying that sister there is the devil. Because we do what we got to do to survive.
That's
but
right,
you see, when it comes to when it comes down to breaking us as a nation, when you're raping or manipulating, because rape is not holding you down by your neck, ripping off your knickers and fussing inside. That's not rape. It's a kind of rape, but that's not rape. Rape can be intimidation. Rape can be, well, you know who I am and what's going to happen if you don't give me. Rape can be feeling like you are obliged as a young little 15, 16, 17-year-old girl to give a big man such as somebody like Rat or my dad. Because you're frightened and you've heard the stories and they know this. And it could be things from intimidating looks to, listen, don't play. You're not talking to an idiot here. Rape can come in all different shapes, sizes and forms. If we do
That's
not,
right. A man doesn't have to hold down the woman, like you said.
we
It can
not
just be
speak-
his presence.
If we don't speak about these things, if we don't speak about these things, then they do exactly what they've done for years. They destroy lives behind the scenes. As Black people, we're broken, you know. I wonder if you know we're broken.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if you know we're broken. Now, I can sit here all day and blame the white man for our breaking, but I can blame us for our lack of healing. I can blame us for not standing up and saying to ourselves, enough is enough. We are not going to behave like the oppressor, and we're going to be what we used to be. We're going to stand for right and integrity. I'm going to say, whether you believe it or you don't believe it, viewers and listeners, I love my father, you know. I'm ashamed of him and I'm embarrassed by him, but I love him. If I got a phone call to say he needed half of my kidney, quarter of my liver, or a pint of my blood, my nigga, you got it. It's yours. You're my dad. I wouldn't be here without my dad. I love my dad. All I wanted for my dad was for my dad to be a dad. But I am not going to sit here as a victim of sexual abuse, know what you did to my sister to be true, and then hear that you are doing this to these women or similar to these women. And not only are you doing it, but you're making it, when they're coming out and speaking their pain, you're coming out with a video like that. A video that if you know my father, you would know he's a liar. Yeah. If you knew my father, you would know that video was not true. And the only people that can know that is those who know him.
But so many people spoke with so much chest, my sister. You know, people like Black Olive, Dardis spoke with chest. You know, there was a point in what they were saying where they were like, well, you know, if it's not true, but there was always an if. Nobody was really willing to come down and hold a faith with the actual victim. We knew what we'd seen in terms of this victim. We know that we'd spoken to the victim.
I'm in Brixton, if I'm in Bricky and I call out the name Afua Rose and I call out the name Peter Bailey, where am I going to get more attention from? This is just a low-class form of
I think it
media.
would be Peter Bailey. I don't know.
Do you understand? But do you understand? This is just a lower class.
They were saying, they were trying to defend the fact that he is a legend, and I was saying he's not a legend for terrorizing his community.
Jimmy Savile was a legend.
There you go. I think I made the point at the time.
Prince Andrew.
But what I'm trying to highlight here, sis, because I don't know what John Smith is doing. I'm going to put the link in, sis, because I know that you're not hiding from anybody, that's for sure.
Bring it.
I'll put the link in. You jump on John Smith, because sis, that is not what John Smith is saying here is that hold on. Her mother's relationship with Peter Bailey was a drug-fueled relationship, not knowing if her mother was on drugs before they met or after they met. What does that have to do with what sister's saying? And she's not even hiding that.
I have a feeling this may be my sister Chanel.
I got a feeling too, actually.
Yeah. Let me explain to you. My mother, okay, was 15 when she met my dad, before my dad even started taking drugs, okay? My mother is a criminal, a grifter, okay? My family, the difference between my family and most mixed race families of that time is my white grandmother had a hella education, very smart. That's why we as her grandchildren all went to school, all went to university and all did well, okay? My mother smokes weed and has mental health. She has never been an alcoholic like my sister's mother. If she had, I would say it would be a good enough excuse to why you were such a bad mother. My mother doesn't have a reason for why she was a bad mother. My family weren't perfect, but we were a mixed race criminal family. White woman that couldn't control the black children that she had. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Grew up on a day, but my grandfather was African, and when you come home from school, you went to your room and you done your homework. And that was it. We weren't allowed out on no state. My mum was promiscuous. When met my dad, ended up having a kid. My mum and my dad didn't have a relationship. Are you all right? My mum slept.
We've got John Smith coming on. Let's see who this John Smith actually is.
Come on. My dad ended up having a kid. My mum and my dad didn't have a relationship.
Hello? John Smith?
Hello?
My mum slept.
Okay, so we've got John Smith coming on. Can you unmute the live itself? Because otherwise we're going to get a feedback from you, John. Hello? John Smith?
Hello?
Okay. Yeah, that's better. Mute the live. Brilliant. John Smith. Yeah, you say you're Peter Bailey's stepchild. Hello? Don't know what's happening there.
Hello? Yeah, I turned off the Wi-Fi on my phone to make sure I get a confirmed signal.
All right, brilliant. Because you had the live playing in the background, you were getting a bit of a feedback, but we can hear you now.
Now, as I said before, there's children related to him that as I said, I don't believe their future and their lives should be tarnished by his wicked acts. I do not defend him at all. I know of his history and I know of him. I've heard stories and I do not agree with him. And personally, he's in my shit list personally as well. But the I've had my own difficulties with him that I don't want to. Well, not difficulties, but because of what I know of him and the people who he's inflicted things on that I know. That's why me and him don't have this. Me and him, there's no relationship. When I say a stepdad, my sister is his child, confirmed child. Like it goes without saying. Now, this person who you have, unfortunately, I believe in what you're doing. And my mother watches your show, and yes, she agrees with what you're doing. And so do I as well. But the problem is, when you have witnesses who aren't credible as she is, she's not been confirmed as his child. Never. It's nothing but we don't know. Like it could be one of any people because of her parents, her history. So it's just a thing where her mum is
so we can hear
him.
somebody, just to cut you very quickly, we can hear somebody in the background talking, which would be better if she spoke for herself. So I don't know what that's about. But
I'm sorry,
but can I just finish? We're not going to talk one at a time. I will mute everybody until we calm the room down. We're going to talk one at a time, okay? Now, what I have seen from this sister, I don't know if I can upload it during the live. I'll try to so people can see it for themselves. But what I have seen from this sister is reams and reams of photo and video evidence or whatever of her with Peter Bailey, and what seems to me to be, you know, him accepting her as his child.
All right, as you know of him, he is a drug addict. So anyone who has money or can feed him or house him or fuel his drug addiction, he will.
Okay,
all right.
Let me just before you answer, sis. I'm going to let you answer, my sister. Don't worry, yeah. But before you answer, whether he has accepted if she is his child or not has no bearing or relevance on what she is saying happened with her sister, and that she heard him admit to in a three-way conversation where he did not know that she was on the call. Doesn't matter whether he accepts the DNA or not, does it?
It's not to do with the DNA. It's to do with what she's saying, how much she knows him. She doesn't know him as much as any other.
No. Let me let her answer anyway. She needs to answer. If you can just be quiet a minute, my brother, let her answer.
I've known my father since I was 3 years old. Okay, so unless you've known my father from 1986, I believe I do know my father. Okay, I do believe him to be my father. I would love to find out he wasn't, but I do believe him to be my father. Okay, happy to do a DNA test. Me and my sister, we've done a sibling DNA test. We've had about 3 children come up over my almost 40 years of life that have turned out not to be my father's. And I will give you this. Every one of those 3, he turned around and said, looked my mother in her face and said, that's not you. That's not my child. And I've been saying, of course it's your kid. What do you mean it's not your kid? And they've turned out not to be his children. He might be a crackhead, but I think he knows where he sits down and he lays it, because he seems to know where all his children are and who their mothers are. Okay? My sister up here, she's half white. He didn't want to admit that woman was his baby mother. But when he looked at the child, he couldn't deny the child. All of my dad's children, we all look the same. All of our children look like they could be his children. But like I said, I'm happy to any kind of DNA test. God would only be kind if he wasn't my father. As for what he's done to my sister, as for me knowing him more than you or you knowing him more than me, I can't dispute that. The man had a hectic life. But what I do know is he did do that to my little sister, that it did traumatize my little sister, and that she is a little mixed up cookie because of it. I also know that when he has spent time within my family or around my family, there has been reasons and causes to think that he is a predator. Now, I know drugs make you do stupid things. Ozzy Osbourne took drugs all his life. He didn't try to sleep with his daughter. He didn't try to give his daughter drugs. Most drug addicts wouldn't want to give their children. Yeah, do you know where I'm coming from? I know that you most probably have grievance with my dad. There isn't a woman, a baby mother that he's laid down with that he hasn't taken from or grieved in some way, which way, shape or form. I'm not here to defend or to say whether he's good, bad or ugly. I'm here to turn around and say, stop slating his victims, because I know my father to be some form of sexual predator. I know this. I'm not asking you. I'm not asking his stepchildren. How can I ask you about my daddy? I know my father. I know who my daddy is. My dad used to spend 2 years of my top of my success, opening salons, opening businesses. My dad was around me, yes, only for the money. That's what drug addicts do. But you know what? He was my daddy. And if it stopped him from robbing and thieving and lying, no problem. It's got the Queen's face on it, not mine. Give the devil what the devil wants. Do you understand where I'm coming from? I'm a Hebrew Israelite. You really think that these material things and these little girl and boy arguments can phase a girl like me? My brother, I know more about you than you know. Do you understand where I'm coming from? But what I'm trying to explain to you,
stick a pin there for me, my sister. Stick a pin there for me. Let's hear back from John.
It's right.
Her mother told Peter about her
Hold
when
on,
she
1
was
second,
around
sis.
8 or 6 years old.
Stick a pin. Let John speak, please, sis.
Her mother told her Peter about her when she was 6 or 8 years old. Now I grew up with a family member of his. I know the family in depth. Like, they know me too. I can turn up at any one of the family houses, any one of the family members' houses, and they know who I am. Now, I do not defend him, as I said before. I'm not like, yes, he is a disgusting man. He's committed a disgusting act. I'm not disputing any of that. What I'm disputing is she is telling my sister's story. Now, if my sister wished to tell that story and expose herself, then yes, that is for her. But she has revealed my sister's name. My sister, as I said, my sister's child now. If someone relates them together, then now their life has been tarnished. Now, when I've said stepchild, maybe that's the wrong terminology. But as I said, my sister is a confirmed child of his. So I'm not making stories. I'm not a victim. I'm not someone from the middle of nowhere or someone claiming fame. I never wish to be famous, and especially not associated with him, because I'm a black man myself, and I do not live that lifestyle. I'm nothing like that. I have a day job. My face is in public. I do not wish to have my reputation tarnished, what I've worked so hard for. So the only reason why I've come on here, because my mom's watched several of your videos and stuff from previous people, other stuff, even from when you was when he had his interview, she was watching it. And it's a thing where, as I said, other people's lives shouldn't be tarnished by being name dropped, associated with him. Other people still have lives to live, bills to pay. No one wants to be tarnished. No one wants to be tarnished alongside this disgusting man, and that is what it is. And she's exposed my.
Can I?
Now
I know who she is, and I don't want to. I'm not here to do no battle.
No, can we talk one at a time, please, sis? I might have to mute you. Don't talk.
Go on, she can go.
All right, she can go. Okay, fine. Go ahead, sis.
What I'm trying to say is, if I believe you to be who I think you are, my sister's brother, then you know what he's done to her, and you know what he's done to your mother. That is why you know this. But as black people, we're too quick to be like, nobody should inform. Let's keep it all behind closed doors. You know what this man has done. You come after Chanel. I come before Chanel. So how do you know when my dad knew or met me? I met my dad when I was 3 years old on Landau Road stables, where my nan used to keep horses, my brother. I remember this. This is not something that was told to me. This is a memory I remember. And then I remember being taken by my daddy when I was 5 to meet your mummy and my new baby sister. Your mummy frying chicken in the kitchen.
That's a correct
I remember
story.
Your mum was very good to
That's
me.
a correct
but
story.
But at the same time, your mum was battered. Your mum was abused by my father. Look at your mum now. I knew your mum before she had you. Your mum was stunning. Nothing to the shell of the woman she is today. No offense, Mandy, but it is what it is. I ain't playing it. I ain't playing. You know
now
what
do you
he's
see
done.
what I mean?
So for you to sit down, my brother, and come on here and say, oh, my son, you know nothing. No. You know what he's done.
I know you.
Your mother has got the problems your mother has today, not because that is the way she is, but because of what my dad did to her and what my sister had to witness. You were a baby. You come later.
Can I just say as well? Can I just add to
I
that?
think
Yeah.
I know.
We spoke. Can I just add something, guys? We spoke at length, sis, about your decision, and the backlash that you would get, the fact that you were going to be telling your sister's story. But the point has to be made. This is actually your story, isn't it? Because it affected you deeply. Like you were saying, nobody else seemed that bothered, but you were actually very disturbed by this. So you're
But
actually telling your experience and your story of what you know.
No,
now, Afua,
I don't love.
Sorry, let me just ask her to respond, my brother, and then I'll get back
all
to
right.
you, okay? Yeah. Go ahead, sis.
Yeah,
I think
I
you've broken
think
off a little bit.
I believe.
Oh, yeah,
I
I
thought
got
I
you back.
recognised.
I got you back.
Yeah, I believe my little sister's little brother, and as far as I do know, I don't know too much about him, but he is a decent kid. As far as I know, he's a decent
Sounds
kid.
as if he is, yeah.
My sister's mum went through hell with my dad, but he has a few baby mothers, her being included, my mum being one of them, and my sister up here, her mum being one of them, that actually hold loyalty and love for him because they grew with him. They were kids with him. Do you understand where I'm coming from? And my sister, the one in question, is very, very loyal to my father. Quite a common trait for girls that go through what she's been through. But she's very loyal to my dad. Do you understand?
Oh.
This isn't this little boy that's just picked up the phone. He's loyal to his sister and his mother. But in true black people style, we like to hide things or to say it isn't what it is. If I knew my dad whether I was 3, 5, or 8, what difference does it
I'm
make?
hearing you,
But
sis.
I'm
I've
not
just
here
got
to
your
lie.
camera off a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't make a difference to me. I wish to hell he wasn't my father. This is embarrassing. This is shameful. But it needs to be spoken out because as a victim of sexual abuse, as a woman and as a mother, there is no way I will sit on what I know and hear that these women are still being abused. What my dad did by putting out that video is still abusing these women. Do we not understand this? You know you've done something to these women. You know you've done something wrong. And then you're still going to continue that abuse by putting out videos like that. My nigga, like, come on. There's no way I hate my dad for what he's done to my sister. The fact that my sister's beautiful on the outside, but inside she's so messed up. And she is the one that spent the longest time with my dad. He was with her mum the longest. He wasn't really with my mum. My mum was just a three times fuck girl. And she got pregnant. My sister's mum, I wish she was here right now. She was packing it for you. She knows my dad better than me. She turns around and says, I was a fucking a crack house. We were both on drugs. Like, it's what it is. These baby mothers are not no women that he said, hey, baby, let me wine and dine you and take you out. We're talking about Peter Bailey here, mate. You were one of many, and if you got pregnant, it didn't matter because kids were 1 to the pound to my father. It didn't matter. But look at your mum. If you are who you say you are, look at your mum. And I'm telling you what your mum was before your mum had you, before she had my sister, because I saw her when my mum found out about your mum. Your mum was stunning in her job with her money. She didn't need your sister's father. But what did he do? Come in her life and pop her down. So the woman is in a situation now that medicine helps you without exposing anybody. So don't sit there and turn around and try and defend nobody. Don't sit down and try and tell my story, little boy, because you weren't even in your mother's stomach yet. And what your sister's going through, I know you love your sister, because I know my sister loves her, but I've seen you in her relationship. But at the end of the day, you know, because you were there, you most probably know more what went in that house than I do.
My sister was protected from her father. My sister was protected from her father. When she chose to meet with him when she was of age at 13, my sister she was protected from him as much as possible throughout through her childhood and her life. She decided to find him. It was a thing. But what I'm saying about you now is that you've known about him, but you personally, your lifestyle, your choice, and even your parenting methods haven't been of someone who knows of these dangers. because I know about you, and I don't want to reveal things. 'Cause I'm not here to do a battle. And I said
Listen, this
I'm not
is not
defending
about
him.
my brother.
But
This is
you
not about
you
trying
haven't,
to.
no. But this is what you're about. You're about Afua. You're about exposing these people and people who feed, who not feed, but who are victims of these people. Now, a child of hers is a victim of a similar thing. Now, this is the thing. What I'm saying, like, she's revealed on my side of the family have stayed away from him. We stay away from him. My sister does not protect him. My sister does not have loyalty to him, because when there was a time and he needed a bail address, he was refused because there's children in that property. So I don't know what she
can we
means
just
by
stick on that point a moment? Because what I'm not going to have you do is try to make this about her and discredit her character. Let's stick with the facts. The facts, what she's saying is, well, you've just said that he was not allowed to come to the house because children are at the property. Why?
At the time when he needed a bail address,
I'm going to have to mute you because I can hear
no. As I
what?
said, I'm not defending him. Because of his character, he was not allowed at the address. So because of his history, because of who he is, because of his temperament, he was not allowed at the address.
That's it right there, my brother, because this sister is saying that she sat down with your sister on a three-way conversation. Okay, can I finish? On a three-way, can we not all talk, please? Otherwise, I'm going to have to mute people up. Yeah, on a three-way conversation with your sister, John. And she heard Peter Bailey admit to your sister what he had done. So that's the issue here. It's not whether or not, you know, and me and the sister have spoken. So there's nothing that you're saying that I don't know. And she is due to come on and tell the rest of her story at another time. So she's not hiding anything. We are talking about what she has said she heard on the telephone. That is her main driving force. And the fact that your dad publicly denied that, or your stepdad publicly denied that he had ever, that he's even that kind of person. That's why she's here. Do you have any comment on that? On the three-way conversation?
I don't deny the three-way conversation. I'm not. I wasn't there.
Okay, so you don't deny the three-way conversation.
I weren't there. I don't know of this three-way conversation because, to be fair, I don't really care for the other person. I know of her and that, but I don't really interact with her personally. But
the way that I'm speaking of our sister, I'm speaking a lie. That's what I
speak closer to the phone, sis, so we can hear you louder.
You've heard it. I know you've heard it, my brother. The story that I have revealed about our sister, okay? Now, regardless whether she wants you to reveal this or not, I'm asking you. You don't have to say, yes, it's true, no, it's true. All you have to do is say whether I'm telling the truth or not. What I have just said, that our father, me and your sister's father, tried to give our sister drugs and tried to have sexual relations with our sister. Am I lying? Is this new to you? Is this a story you haven't heard from our sister yourself?
I'm not. I wouldn't be able to confirm that because I'm not. I wasn't there. It's from. It would be something I've heard, so it's not something I could say yes or no to, or true or false. What I am saying is, it's not. It's not.
But you have heard it before today, John. Is that right? Is that right? You've heard it before today, this story.
I'm not. I don't wish to be dragged into this, as I said
before.
Then
no, you're not dragged into it. Actually, you've put yourself in it by coming on the live and calling the sister a liar in the beginning in the comments. And what you actually said was just now is that you're not denying the three-way conversation. Is what you actually said before now. So really, it seems to me, my brother, that you've just come on to discredit this sister. For what reason, I don't know. It does look like a case of Stockholm Syndrome, cognitive dissonance, trying to protect Peter Bailey or your own shame. That's what it is. And bearing in mind that Peter Bailey is still out in the community, drugging. And can I finish? Sorry, can I finish, guys? Bearing in mind that Peter Bailey is still out in the community, drugging and raping women. My brother, do you not have a moral responsibility to do the right thing instead of trying to come on and discredit your stepsister, pretty much?
One moment. I wasn't a party to the third part to the three-way conversation, so I'm not gonna. I don't wish to speak on that so much. But
You seem to be taking consultation from somebody, brother, in the background. It would be really good to speak to the person who you're taking consultation from.
Then I'm happy to speak to you on a further date. If I'm able to, I'll try and contact you. And I'll thingy. Which would be the best way to contact you personally?
My brother, I'm really confused because you've come onto the live. You were very strong in the comments, bro. You've come on, you've insisted on me putting out the link earlier than I anticipated I would. You're now here, and all I've heard from you is you trying to bash the person who's telling us what they're telling us. You're not able to deny, although you kind of have without denying verbally. It's pretty obvious to us that
my son hasn't come on for a fight. Okay.
Oh, okay. So this is
he hasn't come on for a fight. Okay.
No, but he didn't present very well, sis. He didn't.
He's young, and he's not.
I understand that. Maybe you shouldn't have put him in the firing line, then, sister.
No, he was upset because he heard somebody saying that I was an alcoholic and stuff like that. So that's why he became upset at that. You know, don't make accusations like that. Whether her and her sister's been speaking and her sister's upset with me, and then they exchange notes because she says, "Oh, my mum's a crackhead," and she says, "Oh yeah, my mum's an alcoholic." I don't know what the conversation was. I can't say, I wasn't there, but this is the conversation the girls has been having. Now, anybody that knows me knows that
let her finish, please, sis.
Anybody that knows me, I worked in benefits for years, and then I worked in housing benefits, and I'm a qualified tutor, IAG, information advice and guidance, employment tutor, and I've done lots of work within the community. And I'm not an alcoholic, and I don't appreciate being called that. So what my son is upset about, he's upset about my name being mentioned as an alcoholic, which is an untrue statement. That is not a true statement. And anybody that knows me, and actually the medication that I'm on, I used to work.
Let her finish this. You're going to get a chance in a minute. Just let her finish.
I also used to work in a hotel, and when I worked in the hotel, I got rheumatoid arthritis, and from the rheumatoid arthritis, they gave me methotrexate and hydroxychloroquine. Now she wouldn't know that, and this medication clotted my blood and made me really ill. So that's why my weight has gained, and they had to give me steroids and everything to save. I was on life support, and they had to save my life. So she hasn't seen me. My son found me unconscious. She hasn't seen me for years. And it's nothing to do with alcohol. It's to do with medication that I was prescribed, that medication done something what it wasn't supposed to do, because they were supposed to be blood testing me while I was on that medication, and they didn't. I had methotrexate, what I took on a Tuesday. I was prescribed to take 10 of the methotrexate, which is a cancer drug, as well as arthritis. And I took hydroxychloroquine all the other days, but not the same day that I take the methotrexate, because they're very strong drugs, you know. Right. So whatever has happened to my body or my system is through to the medication and the sickness that happened to me, that occurred to me. Nobody's broken me down or anything like that, you know.
Right. Okay. Sis, I've got to ask you to stick a pin. I understand why you'll be upset if that's not true. But really what we're talking about, what I have to ask you then is, have you heard from your daughter that this has happened to her at the hands of Peter Bailey?
My daughter, this is the first that I'm hearing this. Okay. This is the first.
So she obviously didn't disclose to you. I'm going to give sister a chance to respond to you, because you've just come on and, you know, shown yourself, which is great, sis. And I'm glad that
I understand. I have a lot of respect for you, Afua. And I will have to speak to my daughter about this before I speak to anybody outside. Yeah. I would have to confront her and speak to her about it. And I don't feel like I want to speak to somebody else about this.
Well, can I give sister a chance to respond to what you've said?
Yeah, Layla. Yeah. Let me be real. And I've never disrespected this young lady. Never.
All I know about you've never disrespected me. The time that I've been around you when I was a child, you've always been loving, kind, and courteous to me. Okay, you were around me, I think, when I was really young. But all I know about you is what Chanel tells me. And the reason I didn't believe Chanel when Chanel told me about her dad is because a lot of things she had told me about you, when I had spoke to you, I found it out not to be true. Now, the alcohol problem I get from Chanel and my dad. They tell me, that's what my dad tells me, that's why Chanel drinks. Oh, it's her mum's fault, it's her mum's fault. And my response to that was, what must her mother have been going through being with you? You were, out of all these baby mothers, you were with him the longest. Okay, you were with him the longest. I'm not asking you that. This I know to be facts.
Yeah,
Out
that's
of
true.
all
That's
of his
true.
children, my sister Chanel is damaged the most. My sister Chanel is damaged the most. Now, Mandy, I know you've been a good mother. I know you've been a good mother. When she had that baby at 16, you and your mother, you were there for her. Do you not remember? She was around me every day.
Yeah,
And
that's
that is
true.
how me and you started talking. But and she told me, my mum did this to me, my mum did that to me. And when I come to you, you said, hell no, of course I bloody didn't. And my mum turned around and said, her family's known for being a good family. But Mandy, my father walked into your life and popped down. I'm not asking you that. I don't know what your problems are, what's happened to you. All I know is what my sister and my father tell me. And when I saw you outside my sister's house a couple of years ago, I was flabbergasted because the woman I knew looked like she just stepped off of a music video. What did my dad do to her? Now, this story Chanel told me, the first thing I asked her, Mandy, is, does your mum know? She told me she told you. Now, I don't know whether that is true or whether that is not. Because me and you, we don't really communicate unless there's a problem with Chanel. Or unless me and Chanel are falling out. Do you understand? Your son, I've met him on 2 occasions. Very well brought up, very manageable, nothing like my sister. But he wasn't exposed to my father like my sister was. Now, don't know, Mandy,
now, wait, 1 minute. She wasn't exposed. Sorry, 1 minute. She wasn't exposed to him at all.
No, sis, can you let her finish in the same way I had to ask her to let you finish? You will get a chance to respond.
When I mean exposed to it, Mandy, when I mean exposed to it, you can be the best mum in the world. With the legacy and the story behind our dad, we were exposed to it outside the home. We were exposed to it when we went to school. We were exposed to it just walking down Brixton Hill. Come on, Mandy, you know all these kids look like him. People used to come up to me and tell me, I know your daddy, you know. People used to tell me about Chanel before I knew about Chanel. You got a sister that just looked just like you. Out of all these kids, me and Chanel look like twins. Do you understand where I'm coming from? And you know I love my sister. I am not the only person in her family that find her hard to deal with. But it's not her fault. It's what my dad's done to her, which you couldn't protect her from because she didn't listen, Mandy. You told her what my family told me. Stay away from him. When I was in America, my aunt's a multi-millionaire. I didn't need to come back here, but I wanted to know who my parents were. It's the drive that's in every child. And I know you told her to stay away from him. I know the kind of mother you are. Look at your son. But we didn't listen because as daughters, all we want is our daddy. That fairy tale ended. Why do you think me and Chanel put up with the men we ended up with? Put up with the stuff we put up with? Because we saw our dad do it to our mothers, or we heard our dad did it to other women, or our daddy just wasn't there to show us how a good man was supposed to behave. My daughter would not even accept a man talk to her too hard because her daddy won't talk to her or her mummy like that. Do you understand? I know my sister tells lies. I know my sister fabricates the truth. I used to be that mixed up kid too. My savior was my aunt had money and I was stuck in therapy in America. I love Chanel. Chanel has no idea how much I love her. The man that sits and looks after her now, I put him in that place because I knew he would be good for my sister. And I knew my sister needed care. And me and her can't get on. We get on for a couple of months and then we argue and fight over that stupid, pathetic man we call our father. But I'm not going to sit down as a mother, Mandy, and know what he done to my sister. My sister. She might be your little girl, but that's my sister. That's my blood. And hear him and know that he's doing this to other women.
I have nothing against your testimony. I have absolutely nothing against you. I'm always going to be the same way with you as I have been, you know, but this is not something I'm not, as you know, Layla, I'm not a public person and I need to speak to my daughter first before I before I
agree
go.
with you.
I can't really comment.
Yeah.
And I don't want to, and
Absolutely.
my son also, he doesn't want to make statements about stuff that he doesn't know to be true, because then it's not right for him to make statements that he's not sure
No,
about, or that is, do you understand? So he's not
Yeah,
going to
but
go
you
and,
know the reason
I
that
know.
sorry sis, the reason that I pressed him on that was
Mhm.
because he initially said, when I asked him, he initially said, I'm not denying the three-way happened. So then I pressed him and he said what he said. I don't
Mhm.
think it was fair for him to come on at all, actually, as a
Mhm.
young guy in this
Mhm.
situation. It would be
Mhm.
better for you to come on in the first place. I get it.
Do you know
But
what?
what I
I,
will
I
say
really,
is,
Afua, I watch
I'm
you all the
sorry
time.
about
I really didn't want to, because I'm a very private person. I
I
am an
understand
extremely
that.
private person.
I
And I've had
understand
my
that.
own stuff dealing with, and I have my grandson, like we share a grandchild. Do you know what I mean? So I don't really
Mhm.
I don't want anything to hurt him. I don't want to hurt my grandchild. I don't want to hurt my people. That's what it is.
I get it, sis. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. That is an absolute basic
But
instinct, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, mute up for me, sis, if we're getting feedback. It's a basic instinct, my sister, to want to
Mm-hmm.
protect your own first, okay? I get
Mm-hmm.
that. But we've come to such a critical mass in the
Mm-hmm.
community because of men like Peter Bailey. They
Mm-hmm.
just keep perpetrating and hurting more and more and more and more and more women.
Mm-hmm.
So there's got to come a point in the community where we put our shame aside, we put
Mm-hmm.
our individualism aside and say, well, it's not just about protecting our own, it's about protecting all of us. Because it does take a village to raise a child. And until we change our mindset individually, all of us, and it's
Mm-hmm.
not a criticism to you, sis, I totally get it. But
Mm-hmm.
until we change that mindset and start outing these men in the same way that Layla has,
Mm-hmm.
okay, quite openly, just, caution to the wind, there's
Mm-hmm.
never going to be a buck. Because until Layla came on and you were now forced to come on, there's
Mm-hmm.
nobody that can say that this was a lie now. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Afua, sorry, let me just
Try
say
to
something.
defend Peter Bailey. Do you understand what I'm saying?
There's
They're not going to be
guy
able to do
called
it
Peter.
tonight.
Yeah, in your what's it called? In your Instagram, there's a guy called there's another guy in there, and the girl's got her face slashed with a machete, and this is what's
Yes.
made me step out little by little and follow you on Instagram, because when I saw that, I was so infuriated. I just felt like, do you know what? I need to just I'm taking baby steps. This is a big
That's it, sis.
thing for me, but I'm taking baby
and
steps.
can I just say,
Yeah.
Just before you say, sis, I just want to respond to sister.
is a mother.
You're taking baby steps, sis. And you know what? That is all we need. No one does this overnight. The community is not going to do this overnight. It is baby steps. But I really, really congratulate you for taking those baby steps, because they become bigger steps eventually. And one by one, little by little, it spreads across the whole community. We've got to stand up as women and mothers now.
I don't know too much of her, but what I did know of her, when I was in her care as a little girl, she was fantastic to me.
Yeah, she was a good
And you
girl.
understand, I don't know you to be a bad mother, Mandy. Every time Chanel needed you, I've known you to be there. Do you understand what I'm saying? Every time my sisters needed you, Mandy, you've been there. I know this. Do you understand? My sister has said a lot, and it's not relevant now. But I also know that as a victim of domestic abuse, you can blame sexual abuse. You can blame your mum. I blame my mum. I said things about my mum that wasn't exactly true. I know you to be a good mother. You've had. I'm sure Chanel's come to house before with one of my daughters.
Yeah.
I don't let children out my sight. My children would never become a victim of any kind of abuse. Their mother is too inner. I'm in everything they do because of my history. I wouldn't let my children come anywhere near you if I thought that you were anything bad. Do you understand? I was told by my dad you're an alcoholic, and that's why my sister drinks, because mother introduced her to it. And my sister just went along with that. Do you understand? But every time I was like, Mandy, when I first met you, when I was a little girl, I thought you were Barbie come to life. I thought you were the black Barbie come to life. You were stuffed, amazing, dressed beautifully.
Yeah.
And I spent time you fried chicken and you gave chicken. I'm raised by a white lady, It's the first time I've tasted black people's chicken in my life. I'm like, what? And I ate it all out. I was so happy. My dad dumped me on her and disappeared. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Can I just ask very quickly? Can I just ask very quickly, sis? Have you guys had this conversation before?
No.
Where you've celebrated Mandy?
No.
This is why it's so important, and I hope this is going to be an ongoing dialogue between you guys afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what? What I would love to do is mend with my sister. Me and my sister, we come together, we argue, fight, we break our relationship, come together, argue, fight, break our relationship. I actually think the only hope for me and my sister's relationship would be to sit down and thrash it out on the table. Maybe not with family, maybe with therapists, maybe with professionals that can actually say, because man, I know you love her. I love her too. Mandy, you know I love that girl. And you know she's done some messed up shit. But I love, she's mine. She's of me. Do you understand? But what my dad's done has messed up the psyche. That is why she says the things she says about you. That is why she's acting times, man. It's not you. It's what he's done.
Yeah.
It's nothing to do with you.
You
jump.
I was just, yeah, but Layla, I was just
like
yeah. Sorry for cutting you, Layla. I was just offended when I heard you say that her mum's an alcoholic, because I just thought, hang on a minute, like I just can't sit down and what is that?
No,
you know,
I
where
don't
is
know
that
this.
coming from?
This is what Bailey's.
And you've also seen me, met me from you was young, and you've never seen. You know people that know me.
You with a bottle of drink in your hand in my life.
Yeah, and I'm not of that caliber
and
at
every
all.
time I've seen, always about your game. Do you understand? All I can go on is that information I get from my father and my sister. And at the time, your relationship with Chanel was like mine. 1 minute she's talking to us, next minute we're arch enemy number one. Do you understand? Mandy, what I know about you is what I said. When I was a young kid, I was around you a couple of times. You never treated me any other way than loving and kind. When I got back in contact with my sister, I spoke with you. When I had the salons, and me and her were going doing stuff together. And, you know, she was at a bad place. But I think that these dips that she's having, these mental breakdowns that my sister has nothing to do with you, Mandy. It has everything to do with the things that my father put her through. And I don't think we know. Do you really think I believe that this is all he's done? For him to even invite my sister to his hotel, have the balls to offer her anything, have the balls to even try and touch my sister. You've either done it before, you've got enough confidence to know she isn't going to or say nothing. I am a victim of not one paedophile, many. I know how these people think and how these people. I was a Lambeth care child. Do you understand where I'm coming from? So all of this stuff that's going on with Shan, it's nothing to do with you and your parenting. That evidence is a wonderful little boy that you've raised. I've met your son twice. That's the kind of boy that I would say, you know what, El? You can go out with that boy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I strongly believe that we haven't even scratched the tip of the iceberg with Jan. But you know that she's very passionate, she's very private, she's very stubborn.
Yeah.
And it's going to take a lot. I don't think we scratched the top of the iceberg. I really don't. And I can't speak of stuff that I don't know, but I know that happened. And I didn't believe my little sister, and it caused a blood rift between our relationship. And I will never forgive that man, because I went to him about it, and he told me, "No, you know your sister's mixed up. It's her mum, man. It's her." All of that he come out with, and I believed him because I wanted to. But when she proved it to me somewhat years later, I felt embarrassed, I felt ashamed, and all I did is help my sister apologize. And sometimes I think, is that why she hates me to this day? Because I don't believe her. But I'm not going to sit down while he continues to do what he's doing. And then by putting out that video, you are still abusing these women. Don't you understand that, my brother? I'm not going to accept that. I'm a mother. I'm a woman. I'm a black woman. I'm not going to accept that. I answer for one God, my God. And I will always do what's right. I don't care if it's my father or not, because the father I serve is the father I hire in heavens.
Well, what I just want to say, I'm going to go now, but thank you very much for being respectful. Yeah, no, thank you for being respectful and being honest where I'm concerned, Layla. I just want to thank you and wish you a good night. And Afua, stay blessed.
You
Continue
too, my
to be
sister.
blessed.
Blessed love, and keep taking those baby steps, okay?
Yeah, I will.
All right,
Take
sis.
care.
Massive love.
Okay.
Thank you.
You
Bye.
too. And
Oh, sis, I'm actually
please let
in
my little.
tears. That's why I had to
I had
turn my camera off a couple of times.
that woman went through a lot. That woman went through a lot more than any of them. Let me tell you that. I can't talk her story because I don't even know it 100. All I know is that woman went through a lot. She went through a lot. And she loves her kids. That much I do know. She loves her kids. You understand?
You know what, sis?
But she
After
went through a lot.
hearing all of
I
that,
don't
yeah,
care. My dad broke anyone.
after hearing both of you as well, and you know, there's nobody here denying what you're saying. She hasn't denied it. You know, no one's denying what you're saying.
You know, I fear my. Of course, no
Hello?
one can because they know me. I'm not popular in my family.
No,
No
when I
one
say,
can because they
no,
know me. I'm not popular.
I was going to say, the people that know you can't, and it's obvious. It's obvious
hear
that
me?
this is something that's happened. The people in the family are not denying it. You know, what I'm saying is, in terms of those people that were hard at defending this guy, I really want to pick up on that because this is what they keep on doing. If only we had other family members from these other perpetrators that had the balls to do what you're doing, sis, then there wouldn't be any argument at all. We know what we're talking about is true with everybody, including Peter Bailey. We know it's true. There's people out there, like the sister we just heard from, like yourself, that know it's true but are not coming forward. You understand? So when Dades TV comes on as a white man looking for what he wants to look for, you said you don't mind a man giving his hustle, but what I'm trying to get at is the way that you come into our community, you interview gang members, rapists, murderers, thieves, everyone that is about destroying the black woman, actually, and you make a name off of that and then have the audacity to defend one of them when you actually know nothing about this individual. You think
Don't
you
you
do.
understand?
I'm outraged by
Agenda?
that. You know, and before you go on, sis, I want everybody to
that's
get
the
onto
agenda.
his page. You'll probably make it
That's the
private.
white man agenda.
Well, of course, it's the supremacist agenda. Of course, it is 100%, and that's why I was trying to say to him, "How dare you think that you can come and be a part of our people's destruction in this way? It's bad enough that we're destroying ourselves. You understand, my sister? Hello? You're breaking up, sis. You're breaking up, sis, but I want to hear where Dades TV is. He declined the invitation, and I know he's in the bushes. Why don't you come on, Dades? Jump on Sister Black Olive and say something to this sister because she's highly offended by what she saw. You know, have the courtesy and the humility to admit when all of you are wrong. I expect you to come on. I know you're all in the bushes. Get on here and speak to this sister. I'm going to put out the link again. Sis. Get on here and speak to my sister, please. Because not only does Peter Bailey's most latest victim deserve it, her sister deserves it, whether she knows it or not. She deserves it. And everyone else that's been negatively affected or a direct victim of Peter Bailey deserves for other people that defended him to come on and publicly denounce him after the testimony that they've heard. Let's see if there's fever for that. Let's see if there's a community pickup when it comes to doing the right thing. Because after that, none of them can't even raise their head in front of me, as far as I'm concerned. You know, the link is out there. I've put it up. Sis, continue what you were saying, my sister. I just want to hear what these naysayers are saying, sis. Because there was a lot of them. Hell of a lot of them. And I also want to know, you know, what's going to happen in terms of the latest case when it comes to Peter Bailey, because the police have been dropping the ball. And that's why we come out with the fever that we come out with. We come out with the force that we come out with. Because the levels of injustice, my sister, it's just so comprehensive. We are never going to get justice unless we start screaming about it in the way that we do. So I'd like to know if they're going to run with that case, because they have been dragging their feet on it. Can you hear me, sis? You've gone off. I hope we haven't lost a sister. I hope we haven't lost you, sis. Can you hear me? Some bad coverage tonight, but we managed to get through most of it. Sis, can you hear me? Let's see if sis comes back. She's still on the live, but we've got no audio with you, sis. I don't know if you've muted yourself. I don't think you have. It might just be the coverage. Someone says that's some O2 Wi-Fi. I don't think it's the Wi-Fi. Well, it's the area, low coverage area. Sis, jump back out and jump back in if you can. Try and phone this sister. I want to hear from the sister some more. One second, my brothers and sisters. Woof. I think we all need to take a little 3-minute break actually after all of that. 1 second, brothers and sisters. Okay, sis is going to try and join us and jump back in. Well. What a testimony. See, tumbleweed. Plenty to say when it's in the negative and trying to disprove that Afua is a liar and Afua makes up the stories and Afua doesn't have any evidence. Plenty to say about that. But when it comes onto something that is unequivocal, we don't hear from anybody. Shame on them. That's all I've got to say. I'm not having it. It's just really bad. Sis, I'm just ranting about the fact that when everybody wants to defend the indefensible, when everybody wants to discredit Afua and the platform and talk about how we ain't got evidence, they've got plenty to say. They're all up in the comments. They're all up on the live, shouting and carrying on. But when it comes on to absolute unequivocal truth, nowhere to be seen. Where are they? They owe you a word. They owe you a word, my sister.
Sorry. And you know what, F? They owe you. Because at the end of the day, I deserve it, Chanel deserves it, the victims deserve it, but so do you. Because we're not your pain, but you come and try to heal ours. You're trying to do what we should do as women for our community. Rat out the rats and hold up the strong, respectful, dignified men. How are we supposed to support our men if we are harboring brothers like this in our system? How would we expect to raise our sons to do better if I'm telling my son, you can't hit a woman back, granddaddy does? Son, make sure that a girl wants you to do what you're doing, but it's all right if you're Peter Bailey, you don't have to. I'm raising kings. I ain't raising no hood niggas. I'm raising kings to respect and worship only queens. And women like you help us do that, because my sons watch YouTube and see their granddaddy and see their granddaddy's victims. We are not victims. We are strong black women. We give women birth, Peter.
You're breaking up, sis. Turn your camera off for me. You're breaking up.
And what you're going to do?
Yeah.
And what are you going to do? Tear us down. Tear us down. You are ours.
Exactly what they're doing.
We not only do we sustain you, but we feed you from our bodies. We raise you from our hands. There's no way. Peter Bailey could be my son. If my son's responsible for something like this, I would do exactly the same thing. The only difference is at the end of misery. But if this was my son, I would do exactly. If into my little boy's bedroom and I saw a gun and bullets, the first thing I'm asking is to protect yourself When I hear the words no, I will call the police and say, here's my little boy, and here's his gun, and here his bullets. Please protect my child. I'm not down for this gun life that we sit down and think. The police system is the most corrupt system there is, but I'm smart enough to know how to use it. And if my children had guns, drugs, and were doing things like that, I'm going to protect you. I'm going to protect you. And seeming as you're going to the system anyway, I will hand you to the system before your brothers break you, kill you, or put you in the ground. If my son were responsible for this kind of predatory behavior, I would be taking them myself to the police station. I would be handing over my own son. And there's a mother that loves her sons away, especially to any woman, but especially to your black women. We've been through enough. We've been told long enough we're not good enough. We're not honest enough. We're not pretty enough. Enough. And then we have a sister like yourself that is coming out to stand behind sisters like myself. And our men are fighting and dragging you down. What does Peter Bailey do for you? Does he pay anyone's bills out here? You lot are going on like his thing. He ain't looking after you look after. So what you're harboring him for? What? You promise that you don't harbor and defend it. You better make sure you don't harbor and offend, and you hear say that he's done it again. And when you leave, you get a phone call. Rotted, your baby mother's in hospital. Right, your daughter, and you find out a victim of Peter Bailey. Karma is a bitch. Karma will find you. You cannot hide from it. I call it God's justice. A sexual predator. I know of at least 4 incidents in my lifetime, my sister's one being the biggest, where women have come forward and said he's done this. Just like Jimmy Savile. Everyone knew. If you know and you do nothing, you are as bad as. If you know and say nothing, you are part of. I refuse. I won't be part of that.
And in his younger days, he was a bad man. He was a gallist. He was a bad man. He was a gallist. This is why people are swearing for him. And I want to make the point, sis, that just because you're a bad man, just because you're a gallist, it doesn't mean that you're not a paedophile or you're not a predator. It does not mean that. And this is a case in point. You understand? This is a case in point. Now, sorry, sis, go ahead.
Years old.
You're breaking up a little bit. It's been a really difficult connection tonight, but we've stuck with it. Can you hear me?
I spoke to
chipping in and out, sis.
Yeah, I can hear you. I spoke to a woman somewhat years ago, maybe longer, maybe about 8 years ago, who was my dad said, "Oh, baby's mine. I'm going to meet her. I want you to look at it and tell me if it looks like us, if it's my baby, because I know you'll be able to tell." Yeah. You me, the little girl, looked spitting image of all of us, little baby girl. And I spoke to the mother. I know the mother had some drug or social services issues. I was nursing at the time. I turned around and said, "Come, my sister." Yeah. Go a couple of cases after.
Oh, you've completely fell out of the live. I'm sure sister's going to be coming back. I'm sure she'll be coming back. Oh. Whoa, brothers and sisters. I mean, I've been hearing about everything all week, and we've not even really tipped the iceberg with some of the things that's been happening with Peter Bailey from this sister's knowledge. We've not even tipped the iceberg. But while she's coming back in, do you guys remember when Dardest TV interviewed Peter Bailey, and he was saying that he never ever said that he would come on the live? I never ever said that. I ain't even got social media. He has got social media, by the way. He spells his name Peter with 2. I think I can rest a while. Hold on a second. That's me singing. Well, the devil is really a liar, you know. Sister's trying to get back on. It says her browser is blocked. Why would that happen? Why would that happen? Yeah, so you guys remember, do you, actually, when he was saying to Dardest, hold on 1 second, brothers. Oh, no, she's trying to come in again. Mad technical difficulties today, brothers and sisters. Do you guys remember when Dardest TV asked Peter Bailey if he had agreed with me to come on the live? This was in part 2 of his interview, you know, when there'd been a response from me and stuff, and I was saying, come, like, Peter Bailey's coming on my live to answer for these things. And Dardest asked him, did you promise Afua Rose, Peter, that you would be coming on her live? He said, no, I never told her I was coming on the live. I ain't even got social media. Well, we found out that he does, and that he spells it with 2 T's. That's why we couldn't find it in the beginning. But I'm also going to play you some recordings, because when I phoned Peter Bailey, I recorded him. And I've never released these recordings, even on the back of all of him and Dardest's rubbish. But I actually recorded him, and let me play them to you, brothers and sisters. One's on my phone that I couldn't upload, and one is actually here on the platform. So I'll play both of them to you. If you can hear that, put the camera off. Just tell me if you can hear that. Right, I'll be with you in a second, sis. I'm just going to play a recording of a conversation I had with your dad.
Yeah.
All right.
Hello. Hello. Hi there. Is that Peter? Oh, hello, Peter. It's Afua Rose. How are you?
Oh, I'm not too bad, and you?
Yeah, not too bad. I've not been able to get your number before now,
Yeah.
so that's why I haven't called you. But I did actually see your interview on what's it called, Hardest TV?
Yeah, oh, you did, yeah?
Yep, I did. I did see your interview on Hardest TV. So I just wanted to know, because you did say quite categorically that I should have contacted you, but I had no way of doing that before now. And I do like to speak to people. I've spoken to a few people whose names I've called prior to and you know, decided what I want to decide. But I'm on live tomorrow because I don't want to have a private conversation. I don't think there's any mileage in that. There's no agency in that, really, is there? And I think that, you know, one of the things that I found interesting is that you did actually come out and speak, because most of the people that whose names have been called on my platform, they hide. Do you understand? Yeah, and I always see hiding as a admission of guilt, really. You know, if you're accused of something so heinous, you want to defend yourself, wouldn't you? That's the natural thing. Yeah, absolutely. So, so I'd like to invite you on the live, if that's okay, on Friday. Yeah, that's what I do on a Friday on YouTube.
On Friday?
That's tomorrow. We'll just talk about it, really, and hear your side of the story. Not dissimilar to, because obviously, you know, what you're saying, it kind of...
What you're saying?
Well, not what I'm saying, what I've been told. Do you know what I mean? So, I'm interested in getting to the truth just as much as anything else. Let's just say that one. So, it won't be dissimilar to what you did with the guy from Hardest TV. It's that sort of format. But it's on YouTube tomorrow at 9 p.m. I can send you the links and stuff like that, and you can jump on.
Can you hold on for one moment? I've got somebody who's sexual.
Hello.
Oh, hi, sorry for keeping you on the phone so long.
That's okay.
I think that's a bit of a short notice. I don't know why, but I'll do it, but maybe next Friday.
Yeah, I mean, we can do it next Friday. It doesn't have to be this Friday.
Yeah, and I appreciate it. And I appreciate
Oh, sorry, guys. I muted that. Let me play that again, because this is the second half of the conversation after he's put me on hold, and he's now taking me off hold.
Hello.
Oh, hi, sorry for keeping you on the phone so long.
That's okay.
I think that's a bit of a short notice. I don't know why, but I'll do it, but maybe next Friday.
Yeah, I mean, we can do it next Friday. It doesn't have to be this Friday.
Yeah, come, you know, verify my side of the story.
Because you mentioned text messages, which I'd be really interesting to get sight of those. Because that puts a totally different spin on things, doesn't it?
I've got text messages and I've got voice messages. Send me fuck the police, fuck the feds, fuck the feds. What I was meant to go originally. Yeah, me, and she's done that because I don't know, man. You know? So,
yeah, it'd be interesting to get sight of those. So, I mean, look, I totally appreciate that tomorrow's short notice. I've only just got hold of your number. So, yeah, it had to be short notice, I guess, because I only got it really this morning. So, yeah, I mean, I'll postpone talking about it. I'll move on to a different topic on Friday, but I'll postpone talking about it until you and I speak or until you come onto the live, yeah. Alright, no worries then. And I'll call you closer to next week Friday so we can set it all up. Alright, take care now.
you too.
Bye-bye.
Wow. Does that sound like Peter Bailey to you, my sister? Is that your dad that I'm speaking to in those recordings? Can you hear me? Oh, I've put you on mute, I think. Sorry, sis. Let me take you off.
Yes,
Yeah, I was saying,
it's
is
my
that your father that I was speaking to in those recordings? Can you verify that for us?
Yeah, that's 100%.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So he denied that he had agreed to come on the live. Does that sound
That's
to everybody
Bailey,
like he was saying he's coming on my live?
My dad.
Sorry? Just turn your camera off a minute for me. Turn your camera off a minute. I think it's gonna be better that we can hear you.
My dad has been out with some.
Yeah. Okay, we might be able to hear you better with the camera off. Yeah, go ahead, sis. Go ahead, sis.
Okay, that's better. Yeah, that was my father, and my father's very good. Like my father, look, to be a drug addict. Now even me, I refer to my father because when I look at him, you don't see where I'm coming from. But my dad's a crackhead. In all forces and intents and purposes, my father is a crackhead. Down on the street like a nippy.
So he's going to be very good at lying and manipulating. Yeah.
Himself. Because he's realised fashion and taking care of yourself gets you the girl. But what crackheads are very good at doing in order to survive the lifestyle that they survive, in order to survive the lifestyle that they have to survive, a crackhead can be, what lets a crackhead down is its appearance. A crackhead could tell you whatever it needs to tell you to get its drugs, you know, and you believe it. What lets them down is that when you look at them, you see a crackhead. You understand? When you look at my father, you don't really see that.
Not straight away.
But the mentality of the crackhead is still there. That mouth that will reel off anything. They will convince you that the sky has got pigs flying in it and it's green with purple polka dots. Do you understand? I've seen my sister, another sibling of mine, nothing to do with my father, works in the supermarket. She finds herself sitting there convinced by crackheads when they've been caught stealing. They're very convincing. Very convincing. They have to be. That's how they trick, lie, and deceive to get the devil's work that they put in their body.
And that's the point, because the other people that are very good at lying.
Your average nitty running up and down in Brixton doesn't mean that the mentality isn't there.
Absolutely.
The term a crackhead will sell his own mother for a rock.
That's the point I was going to make as well, sis, is that the other people that are just as...
story where my mum gave another one of his daughters a toy in a box.
Right, hold on, sis. Yeah, I think we got a delay. That's why I can't hear you very well. And you can't hear me when we're crossing over. But what I was going to make the point is that in the same way that crack users are manipulative, they are lying, you know, they're very good at what they do, they're very good at drawing people into to believe them. There's another set of people that are very much like that, and those are perpetrators and pedophiles. And I think what people should take away, or doubters should take away from tonight, is that you cannot swear for anybody. Dades, you swore for Peter Bailey. Yeah, don't say you didn't, because you did. He did. He gave him a whole interview and he tried to disprove what our victim was saying. One second, sis. Let me just done. And also, people, like I said, I have to keep calling you my sister Olive, because you're not even coming and doing the right thing. You and Peppy that was defending him. Peppy, you were in the chats defending him at one point. Olive, you were here defending him on the platform along with Dades at one point, you know, and trying to justify why this nasty, predatory man that has absolutely wrecked his community and his children and family, yeah, you were trying to defend why this guy is some kind of hero. Rethink your thing, honestly. And the fact that we're addicted to filth and badmanism in our community and we're not stepping out and doing the right thing. All we want to do is blame white supremacy and the white man for everything, you know? And people like Dades TV jump on that. We've got to rethink everything in our community right now. We've got to rethink the way we think in order for us to fight some of the demons that there are, you know? And that begins with self, and it begins with the community stopping the cycle of destruction that has been going on for absolute generations. That's what it is round about now. You know, I'm appalled. Aha, you got, listen, this fool. No, sorry. Come on and say what you've got to say, Dades. You're a shameless coward. Jump on about you still don't have the proof he did anything, you ignoramus. What we are proving, yeah, is that this man has given his daughter drugs. Wait, sis. Let him come on and talk to you. He's given this woman his own daughter drugs. Sis, wait, hold on a second. Dades TV, because that's you, Dan London. We know that's you from last time. She has proven, and so has his baby mother, because she didn't deny it, that he has given his own daughter drugs, or the baby mother actually says she's got to have a conversation with her daughter, but you could tell the woman knew that it's probably true, right? We have shown that Peter Bailey is not only a sexual predator with all the other young girls that his daughter has bore testament to that she knows of, yeah, like being at his friend's house and being kicked out of the friend's house because he was found with his hands between his friend's daughter's legs at the age of, 15 the little girl was. Now you're telling me that you want to try to still say it doesn't prove he didn't do anything, you despicable scoundrel. I'm sorry. These things get me very angry, my sister. How dare you? And do it from the comments as well. Go with that and come out of our community's business. You got enough Turkish predators, enough white predators, whatever it is or wherever it is that you come from, to deal with that. Stop trying to promote badness in our community, because we don't need it. We've got enough problems. And that's the problem we have, like the same problem we had with Tim Westwood. How dare you? How dare you? You won't get a good reception. That's why you're not coming on. You don't want to admit that you are wrong. That's why you're not coming on. I've put it on again. There's the stream. Jump on and let's chop it up. But you will be doing that in your indoor voice, because we're not going to have any of that shouting and carrying on like you did before. You yourself have got a few traits that you need to look at, Dades TV, in terms of the way that you address women, especially a sister like me. You've got no manners. You hold predatory traits yourself, because you think it's okay to come and address a black woman like me in the way that you did when his daughter is on here as well, telling her truth. This guy, my sister, go ahead. I'll put the link out to him. Jump on, Dades.
Look after Rome.
Sorry, sis.
Yeah, no, I haven't heard him. I can't hear.
I
don't know if I've
I'm not going to have him say that what you've said doesn't prove that what he was accused of is true. He's still trying to victim blame. He's still trying to minimize what Dades has done. Oh gosh, sister's not here. She's gone off again. Bad connection. But I think we've heard enough, right? I think we've heard enough. Come back in, sis. Let's see if Dades has the audacity to come on here and try to defend Peter Bailey. What do you mean? It doesn't mean that he's not. We haven't proven anything. What do you mean? Unbelievable. Really. I mean, you know what that shows to me, my brothers and sisters? It shows the motive and the mindset in the first place. That's what it shows. That's what it shows to me. This was never, ever. Bless up, sis. Yes, you're back with us. Go ahead, sis, because I'm going to rant and rave now about this Dardes TV. He's bright to come up in the comments and try to say that everything that you said tonight has not proven that Peter Bailey was guilty of what he did to the sister who reported it to us.
Okay, so that is like me saying, if somebody who is from the BBC come with their daughter and that daughter said, Jimmy Savile touched me, mummy, and we said, no, he didn't, because we didn't see him do it. We have enough evidence on the character Jimmy Savile is. So what we do is we make an educated guess. Could this be true? What kind of caliber person are we talking about? Are we talking about a family man that's been proved to be a very, very good father? Or are we talking about somebody where these things keep popping up? They keep coming up. Not only do they keep coming up, now somebody that is as close as you can get, I come out of his balls, has turned around and said, I know my father's done that. Because to these things, it's dreadful. I'm sorry, I still don't see it as bad as a father doing what he did to my sister. I don't. I think that's the lowest, the worst form of betrayal.
It's what they call reasonable doubt, sis. Because if you can do that to your own daughter, okay, and there's been so many different whispers and accusations about you doing the same thing to other people's daughters, what is stopping you to do that to the woman who says you did that to her? But yet we've got this enabler telling us that you haven't presented anything that is convincing to him. Is this guy okay? This is what ego, male ego looks like in the wrong. This is what it looks like.
I'm not his only daughter.
And thank you for putting it so eloquently, sister. Thank you for putting it so eloquently, because right now my blood is boiling and I'm not in a very articulate mood tonight. So I'm glad that you're able to maintain your composure, because I'm so fed up of these deniers and enablers and victim blamers.
Absolutely. But let me show you something. Do you see people like this Dodder don't know nothing about you? Okay? Let me show you something. There's a reason he has the platform he has without any option. Because what he's doing is he's feeding into the main elite gender.
Absolutely.
It's a black man clown is what my father is on his that he talks how he talks. Uneducated, bricks. He's so cool. He's not cool at all. He's not. Do you really think he cares? If he cared, his statement to what I'm saying wouldn't be, we still haven't proved anything. As a man, as a father, you'd think, Jesus Christ, what kind of man have I been talking to?
Absolutely.
What kind of man have I been defending? These are his children, his babies, his stepkids coming out and talking here. We're not talking about people that are jumping on the Peter Bailey 1980s, 1990s bandwagon, which is about to go down the hill. No, we're not about that. Peter Bailey ain't no celebrity. He's a man dad, not a celebrity, a crackhead, not a celebrity, a predator. That is what my father is to me. I love him because my scriptures tell me I've got to. I fear my God, my real father. Do you understand? But even a man's mentality to come out and say, oh, that still doesn't prove. What do you want? You want to be in there holding the girl's legs open for him? It's enough proof for you?
Exactly, my sister.
How much?
Well, I love your rawness, baby girl.
I'm his
love it.
Daughter. I'm not angry. I've had what money. But I love my father.
Camera off for me, sis, so we can hear you properly.
The only way my father... How long do you think this is going to go on for? If he did it to a child that had a mother like me... Come against this?
No, I was saying, like, where you're chipping out, if you can turn the camera off again, that might be helpful.
I do it also to protect my father.
Yeah, that's better.
I do this not only for the victims, but also to protect. One day he will do it to a little girl that has a mother like me, and there won't be no police being called. I'll take my judgment with God. I do it to protect my father. One of these little girls gonna have a daddy up with little girl. You're the wrong little. If my daughter come across, he would be the last female he ever come across. That's my baby right there. Do you understand? So I do it for his own protection as well. This guy, this brother of Esau, this when you've taken enough of my people already.
This brother of Esau, sis, bring up the bloodline.
Isn't that enough?
Yeah.
Go sit down. Go and defend the little white boys in the Catholic Church if you want to defend somebody.
Yep.
No, but I'm being honest. If you want to go and defend somebody, you're not no hood nigger. You're a white boy. The rules are not the same for us. So if you want to go and defend someone, go and defend Jimmy Savile and the Pope.
That's right.
Because I would, if this was not true, I would stand up here and I would defend my father. If this was not true, I would stand up here and I would turn around and say my father is a product of the system. I would stand up and say my father is a product of the other black broken man of slavery. Do you think I don't know how to defend mine? But I'm not going to defend you if you are wrong. I would defend me. Not no rape, not no sexual abuse, and not no murdering of no animal. Anything else, I would defend you. I don't care what you've done, son. You're mine. Whatever you are, I've made you. But there is no way I would defend something like this. And he needs to get help. What I would like him to do is come on and let us know how you become this. Because something bad's happened to my dad. I don't know what, but I see my dad's pain, you know. When you know your God as well as I know my God, when you love your God as deep as I love my God, you see people like they're clear plastic bags. I just know that I can see my dad's pain. You understand? I love a man very similar to my father. He just ain't got that nasty sexual way. But my baby father, my son's dad, is a damaged black man. They all have some kind of damage. And it's not from us sisters. You're still alive because of us sisters. You're still alive because we did things that no black woman should have had to do in those times. But you weren't just our men. You were our sons as well. Our fathers, our husbands. Be what you used to be. Be the black man we remember. When they were hanging you from trees, you had more integrity in your whole body than you have in your little toe today. When you couldn't do nothing but bow down to the opposition, you still have more morals and integrity about you.
Spit the word, my sister. Spit the word.
Look how you are behaving.
Yep. Spit the word, my Hebrew sister.
I don't understand it. People are getting at you, Afua, because you're trying to protect women. If our men don't, we need women like you, my sister. If our men aren't going to come out and talk and ride for us, Tupac said, do you hate your women? Do you hate us? We give you, we fed you from our breasts.
Sis?
Women like you, I mean, what you're doing, what crutch? I sat you on the phone and cried. I didn't lose nowhere. And you nurtured me as a sister, a mother, an auntie should. You are necessary. Let them chat you. They will chat you. They chatted Jesus Christ, didn't they? They chat our Father, don't they? Let them chat you, Ruga, because you are ordained and covered by the Most High, because what you're doing is right. It's right. If their mothers can't stand up for them, if their mothers are too weak because of what men like my fathers have done to them, then that is where you come in, because you are part of that and you're supposed to be helping raise that child. You understand? I give thanks to the Most High for women like you.
Thank you, my sister.
Yeah, my dad can't take women like you. Why do you think you never come across my dad? They can't take women like you. Are you all right? They can't take women like you. You're necessary. You're the mother to the motherless out there. You're the aunties to the auntieless girls out there. You're the that believed when the sister didn't believe. All right?
Blessed love, man. My sister.
I'm grateful for you, man. And everybody should be
love,
grateful for you.
Love.
This is
and
how
you know,
we change
I
things
really would love you to come back on at some point and maybe tell us the other half of your story.
This is how, as black people, become great again, you know. This is how we heal. Come on one accord. We all know there's one thing we all can agree on. To sexually take advantage of any woman, let alone a child, is wrong. I don't care if you're Peter Bailey or Dodders from Jamaica. I don't care who you are. It's wrong. It could be my mum, my dad, my son, my brother. It's wrong. It's wrong. And all Afua Rose is doing is standing up and saying, this is wrong. Okay? You can't turn around and say, listen, when you open your mouth, you think it's easy to turn around and say, he raped me? No. Or he put his hands down my skirt? No. Or he made me feel dirty? It's not easy. We rather hide it. That's why a lot of victims hide it. We rather hide it. Do you know how long it was before my sexual abuse came out? Are you okay? And us abusers on TV daily. Like, come on. It's not that kind of, it's not easy. You did me and did it. But the people are stupid. You got time to waste on these little girls. And gets to the CPA what it is. Don't take it. They break the child down until the child or the victim realize, actually, I'm still a victim, but that didn't happen. I'm more of a victim of the lifestyle and circumstances we see unreliable witnesses. We see young kids. Talk to these children. Talk to them. Mm-hmm. And you will understand that a perpetrator is not what you believe a perpetrator is. A perpetrator does not just look like Jimmy Savile. A perpetrator looks like R. Kelly. A perpetrator looks like Peter Bailey. So like me and you. Okay? A perpetrator could even be a woman. God forbid.
Oh, God, yeah. We know this one.
Yeah.
We've got a few of them running around, my sister. But my sister, we're going to continue this conversation. I'm hoping that you can come back on again, you know, later on and tell us a little bit more about the other side of your journey, because there's another journey that you went through apart from being Peter Bailey's daughter that was really quite extraordinary. And we're hoping that you might be able to come on at some point and tell us about that one day.
Not let anybody encourage you, my sister. Do not let anybody try and belittle you with their mouth. You see this radio, whoever this guy is,
Dades TV.
Know two things. You're a daughter of Zion, and he's not even worthy to be in your presence and address you. You understand?
Talk up the thing, sis.
Doing what we're doing as a sexual street in Brixton, I'm telling you, Bailey. We need you.
Thank you, my sister.
You.
Sister's gone. So we'll wrap it up with my sister on that note. Dades TV, you're bright. Got me out of my cage with your face in this. This woman is talking her truth, and you can just do one, to be fair. I'm not even going to pay you no more mind after this, because you've shown your colours, actually. You have got no interest in uplifting our community. So stop feeding on it like succubus, like a vampire, and making, whether that's for your own notoriety, your own financial gain, whatever it is that you're doing, stop. Because we're not here to be trifled with. We're not here as your plasticine play toy that you can just do with what you will. We're not here for that. We've got a lot of issues in our community that we need to fix internally, my brothers and sisters, before we farm it out to other people that seek to exploit us but have no real love for us. Because if they did, then they would be highlighting the many positive things and the many positive black men that are in our community. That's what they'd be highlighting, not the robbers, the rapists, the thieves and the thugs. They just wouldn't be doing that, you know? We shouldn't be exploiting that amongst ourselves and highlighting that, but we do. Grime music, this and that, talking about stabbing up each other's children. And then you've got the outside forces who've got no love, who did not grow up in our community, not a part of our community, thinking that they can culturally appropriate us. I'm quite sick of it. Everybody wants to be a black gangster. Well, you know, you can all melt in one pot together as far as I'm concerned. And that's that. But yeah, my brothers and sisters, absolutely explosive testimony tonight. There's absolutely nothing that can be doubted in what this sister says. And what people need to understand as well is that what you've seen is a behind the scenes of the type of evidence that we have. It's not always going to come out so blatantly. And I'm so glad the sister has done that. But when people say we don't have evidence, it is this level that we have and we do know. There's always going to be something quite profound that convinces me that what I'm being told by an individual is the actual truth. Do you understand? There's always going to be something quite profound like what we've heard tonight, you know. Next week, I'm going to be exposing some more evidence that we had. Because you see, what's happened now between when I first dropped certain stories and now is that CPS are starting to fail some of the sisters. Police are starting to chow down some of the cases. So we can now bring out some of the evidence that was previously police evidence. And I'm actually going to do that on the Punroy case next week. You remember Punroy, the Dutty Bunganati Rastaman, who used to be my brethren that happened to be somebody that was fasting with his own daughter. We're going to bring out the proof that convinced me that what his baby mother was telling me was actually true. But we did not share that in the public domain. We just called him out. And this happens a lot. So I'm hoping that it's going to quiet some of you people, although I doubt it very much, because you've got people that are fixed in wanting this platform to sink, like Dades TV, because after everything that he's heard, any self-respecting, humane human being would have resonated with them. They would have had to be humble. They would have had to come on the platform and face the sister as she asked them to do and say, you know what? I defended the wrong man. I'm going to take that video down where I'm helping him to lie, okay? And maybe put a new video up condemning him. But instead, he comes in these chats and says it still doesn't prove that he's done anything. That about sums it up for me. You know, if you are not part of the problem, you're part of the solution. And if you're willing to go that length to defend what has clearly been proven to us today is a predator and a paedophile. We weren't even calling him a paedophile, were we? We were saying that he had drug raped a 61-year-old woman or a 60-year-old woman. That's what we were saying. And that's what he was being defended on. His own daughter has come out and shared with us what he did to her sister at the age of only 14 or 15 years old. I dare anyone to come on and defend him. The only decent thing to do from Black Olive, from Dades, because remember, it is that sister here that has come on who asked me to invite them because she wanted to talk to them. Not here, tumbleweed. And it made me sick, all of you. And I don't care who wants to get vexed. We know how we converse in our community. We got another one called the Truth Sayer that said he was coming on here today. There's the link, or is it a she? I don't know. Tell me that my methods are wrong. Because at the end of the day, what people need to really understand, and I'm not going to tear you up the way I've been Dades tonight. That's a whole different ballgame. We know why he's getting it the way he is. We know why. But if you've got something to say, Truth Sayer from Instagram, we had some DMs going backwards and forwards. Jump on, otherwise I'll bid you lot good night. Because this person seems to think that they know a better way of outing these things in our community. That's what they seem to think. They don't like the way I present. They seem to think that I'm part of a TED Talk or some kind of Microsoft Teams clinical meeting or some kind of conference at work where I need to present myself in the way that we've been assimilated to present ourselves. No, I don't. It's raw, it's uncut, it's how I speak when the lights are off and I close my door, and we all have that. I don't want to be an assimilated Negro. Yeah. So if I start to cuss Bumbleclot or whatever because I'm upset, that's what I do. My founding father and my teacher, Khalid Muhammad, was very good at cussing when it came onto his speeches, but a more eloquent speaker you could not find. Brother Malcolm used to cuss, you know, that old blue-eyed thing. Marcus Garvey used to cuss, you race of cowards, you race of imbeciles. You see, no, you lot don't like the lash when it comes, the lash of truth. You want us to give it to you eloquently, especially here in the UK. We're probably the most apathetic Black people in the whole diaspora. We stand for absolutely nothing. We make a noise very rarely. You know, we need some radicalism in our arse. We need to stop being so polite in the way that we've been conditioned to. We need to stop being so apologetic. And I apologize for nothing. We've heard from a sister who's affected, and many sisters who've been affected, that this is exactly what is needed in the community. Why? Because it's never been done like this before. We've never had raw conversations about what has been killing us. We've never had raw conversations about that. And it's pretty hard to reach each individual and each family in any other way. How else will we be appealing for other witnesses unless we highlight these people? And we've always hit it on the head. We've never been wrong. Show me a time. You can say, oh, he's innocent, just like you did Peter Bailey, until you get this kind of proof. But it's not every day we show this kind of proof. It's not every day that we have sisters that have got the courage and the valor to stand up and speak out against your own dad. That is hard to do. It's very clear to me that this sister loves her father deeply and dearly. She tried to help him many times to get out of his addiction. But there comes a point in a person's decency, okay? Ugh, do you know what? You are an absolute numpty. Everyone knows that was Peter Bailey's daughter. No one's denying it. You are a numpty. And you're talking about big up Dardis like you're not Dardis. Dan London, get off. You can block him now, moderators. He's an absolute willy head. That's what he is. Get him off. Don't even want him in the space because he violates. That's what he does. Get him off. Waste man. That's what you are. An absolute waste man. And if you do want me in an interview with you, I'll tell you to your face. You're a waste man. You ain't nobody out here. You're not a bad man out here. Maybe you're living your own fantasy, Dardis TV. Maybe because you want to be one of the 28s or you want to be Peter Bailey. Maybe they even battered you at school. Who knows? But you are actually a despicable individual because you're still peeing all over our sisters' testimonies. Absolutely despicable. Get him out. Let me find him so I can actually block him from my end. And never shall you darken our door again, ever, Dan London. I'm actually going to block you from this live. You won't be able to ever watch it again. There you go. And we live deaf. Right, it says I have to refresh the page. I'll find you on YouTube and I'll block you because you're just despicable is what you are. Crowd his page, people. Tell him how despicable he is. He's got some posts up about me when I invited him to the live on behalf of that sister that you've just seen. And I think that you lot should just cancel him. He can go into the gutter with the dregs, like Peter Bailey, and go and play with them in the way that he has been, because it's just a disgrace. I'm not impressed. And there we have it, my brothers and sisters. Nobody's going to come on, are they really? They don't have the integrity. They don't. They don't have the integrity. Lots to say. What I want you guys to really take from tonight, my brothers and sisters, is the fact we've always got evidence in the background, is the fact that the community does want it, the victims want it, and those are the people that I stand for, not anybody else. Don't care if you don't like my methods. Don't care, don't care, don't care. It's all about the victims roundabout now, okay? That's what I'm about. And that's what I want you guys to take away from this. I want you also to take away the fact that we've got individuals that it doesn't matter what kind of evidence they want. Like Sister said, did you want to be there holding open the victim's legs? Is that the kind of evidence that you need? Doesn't matter what we say, they're still going to come on with their nonsense and their rubbish. And that's why it's so important that we get a members space where sisters like that can speak more freely without idiots coming on and saying what they're saying. It's really important. My daughter was sick this week. She wasn't able to upload some of the visuals that we needed for the membership, but she's working on it for me. You guys know I'm a technophobe. It's not my generation, and it will happen. There should be some links to not only the change.org link. There should not only the change.org petition for baby Ava and her mum Giselle, but there should also be links to the Cash App. Please hit it, my brothers and sisters. This work is not easy. We've got His Time Is Up campaign, March coming up in 2022. Please hit the Cash App, put it up, moderator, if people can't find it in the description, although they should. And please, 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 please keep on supporting, keep on giving, my brothers and sisters. Don't let people say that Black people don't support their own causes. They're always telling us that. Sometimes it feels like it's true, but I hold out a hope and I speak positivity into my people. I speak positivity into our community because I believe that we are a great and mighty people and we can accomplish what we will, in the words of the late, great Marcus Messiah Garvey. So my brothers and sisters, yeah, we will be selling some T-shirts, most definitely in the lead up to the march. Hey, you're ahead of me. That's already happening. All those announcements will be coming out in the subsequent weeks. And yes, my brothers and sisters, it's been an absolutely monumental one. A monumental one. I really did think that people like Dardis would have the balls to come on and at least, you know, if you're going to say things like that in the comment, come on and defend why. You haven't got an argument, man. But I did think that my sister, Black Olive, would come on and speak to Peter Bailey's daughter. I thought that she would have the integrity to be able to do that. And I'm very disappointed in you, my sister. Like, I know you guys are probably going to want to hit me up in DMs and all of that, but I'm not interested. I won't be answering, so don't bother. Because if you can't come on here as a woman, as a Black sister, and face that sister when she asked you to, then as far as I'm concerned, like, you lot don't rank in my books at all, innit? It's as simple as that. Like me or hate me, I don't really care. That's your business. We need to get some decency and some integrity in our community. We really, really do. And it's been a hard lash tonight. It's been tough love and, you know, hard truths tonight. But I believe that it is absolutely, like, no, we're not going to disrespect Black Olive. She's still our sister, misguided as she might be, and as afraid as she might be as having to admit a wrong and face perhaps a backlash or a retribution. But we're not going to disrespect her tonight. She's still our sister. I'm just saying I'm vexed with her, innit? And that she is, she's down in my rankings, really. I didn't have anything against sister after the Peter Bailey thing, not really. You know, I've got lots of DMs. Brits and people love to talk, hearing how they used to hang out with Rat and they used to hang out with Peter and whatever. That's not my concern. What I'm talking about is how she presented in just, you know, just shutting down anything that the victim at the time had to say, and even suggesting that the victim had a drink problem. So what? You know, we hear this so often. I used to hear it in the cells, on the wings, with, you know, white males from the white supremacist power structure. And now I hear it amongst Black women as well. Something has definitely radically got to change with us, my brothers and sisters. It's been a pleasure as always, my people. Yeah. Next week, we're back with some fresh stories, and we'll also be hearing again from Sister Giselle in more detail about the things that she's experiencing. But we can't allow the system, the racist system, to send her back to the hands of a man that's more than likely going to murder her. And nobody will hear about it, by the way. As I say, hit the Cash App, hit the GoFundMe. There are the links. Let's get a quick little banner before I go. I'm not the best fundraiser. I'm not very good at kind of motivating people and driving them. Not very interested in that. I just expect people to ride on their consciences. You know, I speak to a lot of supporters in and around the day, throughout the week, in between lives and stuff like that. And one brother was saying to me today that he's really appalled at the way that I'm not being supported financially. I believe I am. He believes that people should be doing more. I'm grateful for whatever. But I hear him when he talks about, you know, what I go through and the level of push I have to go through, what it takes to set up these lives and investigate the stories and all of that stuff. He feels that we should be supported more. Be great if we could, because then we could get to where we're going, actually, without having to beg the system for anything. And that's really my thing, why I push what I push. So thanks once again, my brothers and sisters. It's been a fantastic live. It's been a live. And I really, really pray and hope that you guys have a brilliant weekend. I heard it's going to be actually quite a nice hot one as well, although it's been a bit hit and miss. I think tomorrow's going to be similar to today, and quite warm. So I'm going to be doing the family thing, paying my pitney little mine. She doesn't hardly get any mine off of me during the week. And I'm going to keep it moving and keep it moving, my brothers and sisters. We are hurtling towards His Time Is Up March 2022. And yeah, it's going to be a massive one. It's going to be a massive one. We are trying to organize stalls. So if people want to start expressing their interest around that, I can get an idea of numbers, DM me on at Afua Rose 69 on Instagram. And for those of you that are not used to these platforms, what happens is that we always post our appeals and our perpetrators on Instagram, and then we have the discussions about them here on YouTube, Afua Speaks, Community Conversations at 9 p.m. every single Friday. Blessed love, my brothers and sisters, as always, all the supporters, the moderators, all of the regulars. I love you, I love you, I love you. And let's send some real healing power out to Mandy and Sister Layla so that they can bridge that gap with the daughter and the sister, you know, the one that has been so affected by Peter Bailey, by her father and what he's done to her. Let's send some healing energy, some light and some prayers over onto their side of things, you know, because they're going to need it. And definitely for Sister Layla, we pray for a fence of protection around her, for her power and her grace to prevail. I believe that she is stronger than strong. And we just want to we just want to lift her up right now into the hands of the Father and ask for protection for her, because the backlash is going to be enormous against her within her own family, probably from Peter Bailey himself. Touch a hair on that little girl's head. Although I think she can kind of deal with you herself, actually. But try that. And we will bring it to the streets. You know, we will march and march and march as much as we can and make as much noise to defend our sisters. Blessed love, family. I will see you again next week. Stay strong, stay safe, and keep on talking. His time is up. Blessed love.